Now on home video.
Walked through a party in the county jail. A pretty man there, they began to wail. Don't be cruel.
The King in his historic 1968 comeback special is available again on home video. This is the Elvis you remember, at the peak of his power. Order now and you'll get 27 of the King's greatest hits, a full 76 minutes of rare Elvis concert footage. Purchase your own collector's copy of Elvis, live in his 68 comeback special for only $19.95. Here's how to order.
Use your credit card and call 1-800-238-9300 to get your collector's copy of the Elvis 68 Comeback Special video, only $19.95 plus shipping. This is a special TV offer for Elvis fans only. Call 1-800-238-9300. Order now.
The following is a special presentation on TNN, the Nashville Network.
It has been a year of conflict on the Busch Grand National Circuit. In addition to battling each other, drivers have fought off the heat, the rain, the racetracks. But on this final day of the season, one of these three men will bank over $100,000 in season-ending bonuses and be declared the 1992 NASCAR Busch Grand National champion. TNN Motorsports proudly presents live exclusive coverage of the Pantry 500 from Hickory Motor Speedway in North Carolina. This track that was scene of a crash fest back in April becomes the setting for the title bout for the Busch Grand National Championship. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mike Joy. With me once again, Neil Bonnet. Neil, what an interesting set of circumstances. Two drivers within 100 points to challenge for the crown, and it all comes down to this tough third-mile oval.
I'll tell you, they got their work cut out for him, Mike. Joe Nemechek has had a great season. He has to. He's been leading in the points. But it hadn't been that way all season long. About mid-season, they were out of money. They couldn't even continue running the race. He ends up winning at Nazareth. It gives him a little bit more money to go racing. All of a sudden, he's back in the picture. But the thing he's got to be concerned with today is finishing on this tough racetrack. He needs to survive. It's hard to do here, Mike. It's not going to be easy to finish up front.
Nemechek carries a 33-point lead here to Hickory. Let's find out his pre-race strategy from Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, I'm standing here with Joe Nemechek. He's awfully relaxed for a guy with all that stuff on the line in front of him. And, Joe, hard to avoid things on a racetrack like this. What's your strategy today?
Well, we're going to start out, just kind of hang in there and see what happens, let everybody get spread out and find out what they want to do. And we definitely have a car that's capable of going to the front. We ran good when we tested here, and we qualified 8th. Had a little practice here a little while ago. Car's awesome. I mean, awesome. We're ready to go to the front and hopefully win this race.
Are you nervous?
Well, just before any race, you know, you get your adrenaline pumping and stuff, and as soon as I get bolted in the car and they say start your engine, that stuff's gone.
Okay, good luck, Joe. Mike?
Well, it could be the biggest day of Joe Nemechek's young career, but the driver who may deny him that championship has been there before. He's the defending titleist. Bobby Labonte is trying to become the first driver ever to win this title without ever leading the points.
Mike, he's done it the way the Labontes always do it. They just finish all the races and finish up front. He hasn't led that much. He hasn't been in the front of all the races, but he's been in contention with a possibility of winning races. He hasn't led the points thing, but I'm telling you what, he's finished in top 5 here every race, the last 5 at this track. He's got a shot to take that first place away from Nemechek.
Labonte is just 33 points behind. Glenn is with him.
Well, Bobby Labonte is readying himself for this battle, and Bobby's been an uphill struggle all year. This is the final day. How do you feel?
Oh, I feel pretty good. You know, we're just going to take this race like we have the rest of them and hope for a little luck and try to get the Slim Jim Chevrolet there at the end and see what happens.
Well, what's your strategy? You going to the front? You got to come from behind.
We'll just do what the car wants to do. You know, if it wants to go backwards, we'll follow it and fix it when we can and go back to the front, I hope. But if it wants to go somewhere, we'll take it there.
His record at Hickory has been phenomenal. He's only finished out of the top 5 one time. Keep your eyes on him.
Well, Glenn, there is a third component to this title chase. There is one more driver who is within 78 points of the lead and perhaps his first championship. A fellow who's had a season that he wouldn't trade for anything is here at Hickory and has a shot to win it all. Since we got 3 drivers for the title, it's going to take 3 voices to tell this story, so let's bring in Buddy Baker.
You know, Mike, Neil, it's pretty obvious what Todd Bodine has to do today. He's got to go out and try to win the race. But it's been one heck of a year for you anyway.
It really has, buddy. You know, this is a second-year team for us here at CC Welliver with Hungry Jack as a sponsor, and to have 4 wins and 4 poles in this 2 years is a great accomplishment. We're really proud of what we've done. We came close to winning the points, but close ain't close enough, and we just got to go out and win this race and do the best we can.
Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
3 drivers, 300 laps. One will become the Busch Grand National Champion. We'll be back to Hickory right after this.
Miller Genuine Draft. It's cold filtered. That's how we keep our commitment to everyone who knows that draft beer is real beer, pure beer, the best beer. It's why so many people can enjoy a beer whose taste hasn't been changed by heat pasteurization, and why so many people are making a change of their own to the genuine draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold.
It's the same thing every Saturday. He puts on those old blue jeans and goes out with that old dog, and he's gone all day. He says he's going to bring back dinner, but all he ever brings back is that old dog.
Here's to old dogs, Saturday mornings, and comfortable blue jeans. Wrangler.
Over the years, I've made a lot of trips back and forth to Vegas.
How's it going this trip, Todd?
The odometer was broken for over 50,000 miles, so I say we've got 300,000 miles on this car.
Hi, George.
I've had a longer relationship with this car than I've had with any woman.
Hi, George. How are you?
This beauty's a living example of what can be done with proper maintenance and AC Delco.
Hi, George.
AC Delco parts. It's like buying time.
TNN Motorsports exclusive live coverage of the Pantry 500 is brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. And by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. At Hickory, North Carolina, it's only 50 degrees, but it's going to be hot down on that racetrack as we get going for the Pantry 300. Let's have a look at the most recent Busch Grand National Series action. Here's the Haviland update. The Busch Grand National Series was at Rockingham. The AC Delco 200 saw Jeff Gordon's Baby Ruth Ford on the pole for a record 11th time this season. Gordon would battle early on with Mark Martin in the Winn-Dixie Ford for the lead, and they'd swap it 3 times before this race was over. Down on pit road, this poor lonely Hoosier tire got stood up with no place to go. And back out where the tires were spinning, Harry Gann in the Mack Tools Buick looked for a spot up front and would lead for 4 laps. A 12-car pileup on the back straightaway would end Bill Elliott, Bobby Dotter, Steve Grissom, and 9 other drivers' chances to win. Then on the restart, things got really congested down toward turn 1. When it all cleared out, Darrell Waltrip's Western Auto Chevy chased Mark Martin. Waltrip would lead for 9 circuits. The Texas Pete car, point leader Joe Nemechek, stayed in the pits a little too long here and would finish 16th. Bobby Labonte found himself pretty much alone on the racetrack, finishing 8th and cutting into Nemechek's lead. But when it mattered most, Mark Martin was at the head of the class as he won the AC Delco 200 and $14,000. Coming to the last race of the season, Nemechek leads Bobby Labonte by 33 points, with Todd Bodine 78 points out of first. Jeff Gordon and Robert Presley the top 5. That's the way the points look as we come here to Hickory. Packed house here at Hickory Motor Speedway. Place seats 9,600, 3,000 standing room, and it is just filled to capacity. They know what's at stake here. One big surprise in qualifying. The man who sits on the pole, I think, surprised everybody that was here in April, and maybe even himself. Glenn Jarrett?
Well, I think you're right, Mike. He did surprise himself. If ever a guy turned it around at one racetrack, Jim Bound did it. 4 or 5 spins in the race back in the spring, but you put this thing on the pole. I know you're excited about it.
Yeah, I am. You know, it's great with no sponsors and all to be able to run as competitively as we do. I got to say hi to all the people back home at Portland who helped me get this far, and all my volunteers and people back at Rose Auto Wrecking.
Well, this is one time when you can look in the rearview mirror for older brother Chuck.
Yeah, we've out-qualified them a few times, but they got a lot of race finesse, so we got to figure out how to beat them for 300 laps. That's the point.
Okay, best of luck to you today. All right, you folks stay tuned. We'll be back for the start of the Granger 500 right after this message. Don't go away because we know where you live.
Quote, Dodge Dakota Sport with an optional 180 horsepower Magnum V6 out-accelerates Ford and Chevy compacts and does it for under 10 grand. Unquote. Dodge, the most powerful line of trucks anywhere.
Get $500 cash back on new Dodge Dakotas.
When your engine is working hardest and needs protection most, Castrol GTX is the only leading motor oil that meets the world's toughest requirements for viscosity breakdown in every grade. Fact is, the only way you can get that kind of performance from any other leading brand of oil is like this. Castrol GTX, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Try Castrol Super Clean for tough, greasy jobs. If it won't come clean with Super Clean, it won't come clean.
This bench gets a professional finish with Krylon spray paint. No runs, no drips, no errors. Dries to the touch in minutes. The other brand's still tacky. Wow! What a game!
Good game, Mr. Euchre.
He's a lot tougher than he looks. For a fast, smooth, professional finish, get Krylon.
TNN is making history in the desert. For the first time, the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Competition comes to TV. Live. The Winged Wonders soar into view Sunday at 6:30 with an intro preview. Then, flag-to-flag coverage gets underway at 7. Now you don't have to wait till February for more live racing. Slick 50 Sprint Car World Series tonight, live, only on TNN Motorsports.
Hey, I'm Harold.
I'm Jimmy. Phil.
Don.
The Statler Brothers.
And we're coming to your house with a brand new season, Saturday night, November 21st at 9 Eastern.
Statler Brothers season premiere, Saturday, November 21st on TNN.
Here's the heart, TNN,
where the bright stars all welcome you to come on in. We're the music of America, and you are a part. Deep in the heart, TNN.
Here is the heart of country.
They have fired the engines here at Hickory, North Carolina. Here's how they'll start the Pantry 300. The surprise pole sitter, Jim Bound, 88.8 miles per hour. He's on the pole. Jeff Gordon just missed his 12th pole of the year in the Ford. He's outside pole. Chuck Bound will start in the 3rd spot, and Mark Martin in the Ford will go 4th. Bobby Labonte, second place point man, starts 5th. Bobby Dotter had a good qualifying run to earn the 6th spot. Todd Bodine, 3rd in the points, is 7th, and right alongside is the point leader, Joe Nemechek. Butch Miller will go off 9th today, and Hermie Sadler is in Jack Ingram's car. 11th, Mike McLaughlin from New York State, then Tom Peck from Pennsylvania, 12th. Robert Huffman, local driver, is 13th, and Tommy Ellis is here in 14th spot. Ward Burton qualified in 15th, and Nathan Butke is in 16th spot. Local hero Tommy Sigmund has the 17th position, and Jeff Burton, who's sponsor for that car next year, announced today. Dale Jarrett starts 19th, and Robert Presley is back in an uncharacteristic 20th spot. Jimmy Spencer will go off 21st. Dennis Setzer in another Bill Davis Ford is 22nd. Steve Grissom goes 23rd, and Richard Lassiter from Arkansas. Ricky Craven, the new Rookie of the Year, and Lonnie Rush Jr., who had a great run up at Bristol. Tommy Houston, the winner here in April, goes 27th, and Kenny Wallace will start 28th. The provisional starters are Tracy Leslie, 29th, and Mike Wallace, the 30th spot. That's the way they'll go to post here for 300 laps. We'll have 2 cars carrying our in-car cameras today on TNN. The Winn-Dixie Ford of Mark Martin gives you this view from the 360-degree tilt and pan race cam. mounted on the roll cage. And what Mike Hembry in Winston Cup scene called the Wham Bam Thank You Ma'am cam on the rear bumper of Mark's car. Kenny Wallace in the Dirt Devil Pontiac. He's starting way back in 28. There's Tommy Houston's car out the windshield. There's our 360-degree race cam. And we'll have the face cam on board with Kenny. And Tommy Sigmund had a quick stop there on the back straightaway to adjust something, but got back going again, and he'll be up with the field when we get the green. 300 laps, 3 drivers, 1 championship at stake here. The weather today, I think 60, well, it could be 60 degrees, a little optimistic. We did a concert here the other night. It was about 34 Friday night, our driving country concert. No chance of rain, partly cloudy, mostly sunny here at Hickory. Be a great day, and the place is packed. They're up the hillside, out in the parking lot, all over this 3/8 mile oval. 14-degree bank in 1 and 2, 12-degree bank in 3 and 4, and 8-degree bank, which is pretty steep on the straightaway. Second oldest NASCAR track running a weekly schedule anywhere in the country. They began racing here in June 1951. I believe the oldest is Agawam, Massachusetts, 1949.
You believe? Is that the closest you can get to us?
Well, I know they're 1949. I'm just not sure that's the one they carry in the book.
Mike, one thing when you're talking about track description, earlier in the year we were at this track and they had a little bit of problem with the surface, and no one feels any worse about that than the track promoters. Since that time, they came in here and totally repaved the racetrack, and it looks excellent right now.
Benny Yount and his folks have just done a great job here, and a special hello to General Manager Bob Friedman, who, due to a death in the family, can't be here today to close out this season. I know he'd love to be. In fact, that track in Agawam, Bob Friedman used to wrench on a race car there. Now he runs this track.
Have you got a book over there with all that stuff in it?
No, I just kind of grew up there, so.
We're seeing them take a lot of laps here. When they said 60 degrees, they were being real generous a while ago. It feels a lot cooler outside. They're letting these guys take a lot of extra laps to get some heat in these tires. They were having a little bit of problem.
I'm going to get in on this a little bit, Neil. You notice the cars zigzagging back and forth. You get a tremendous amount of rubber buildup on the cars when you run around here slow. When you see these guys flipping back and forth like that, they're cleaning the tires off for a start.
Which is what we're going to have next time by. Kenny Wallace checking in with his crew by radio and getting set to go here. From Mark Martin's car, you're looking at the front row. Jim Bound on the pole, totally unsponsored car, and a great story about the engine of that car we'll pass along in a bit. 300 laps to decide it all for 1992, and we're under green. It's going to be Gordon on the outside, getting a little better bite off at turn number 2. He leads by a car length. Bound lets him slip in. Here comes Mark Martin up the outside. Bound is second. Jim Bound, Chuck Bound, is right on his bumper. You're riding with Mark.
Well, what a shot, Neil. I'm telling you what, that was a little give and take going in the first corner there, and I think that was smart to early in the race.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon, he was able to get in front, and Mark got hung outside. It backed him up a little bit.
Leader Jeff Gordon. You saw Jim Bound give his older brother no quarter and ask none. Jim is second, Chuck is third. Up the outside, now for fourth, Mark Martin. Crash, turn 2, 4 cars. Mike Wallace is one of those. At lap 3, we get our first caution.
Leslie.
Well, the Bound brothers were racing hard. So were the Wallace brothers. Mike and Kenny were both involved in that one. So was Tracy Leslie in 72. And the number 90, the Lonnie Rush car, were all involved. Everybody will pull away and resume this race. We're under the first caution of the day at lap 3. Stay with us.
John, how you doing? You know, AutoZone customers are pretty special. I mean, they take great pains in doing a job just right. So they know exactly what they want. That's why we carry so many parts. And also why we price them so low every day of the week. Because you gotta admire a guy who'll tackle a job like putting in a starter, a water pump, a rack and pinion. And you gotta give a guy like that exactly what he wants. The right parts and the right price.
In America, your car doesn't just get you from here to there. It's a part of your life. To give your car complete protection, Texaco has developed Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. With not one, but 3 kinds of protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
When the job is tough, you need the best. And when you need the best, you reach for Channel Lock. For the power. The precision. For just plain counting on, there's only one. Channel Lock. Be sure you're getting genuine Channel Lock tools. Look for this trademark.
Life's an adventure. The Discovery Channel. It's your world.
Welcome back to Hickory. We're under the first caution of the day. Mike Wallace, one of the cars involved, replaced a right front tire and some sheet metal. Let's see what happened here in the backstretch.
Looks like they're hung up, buddy, coming off the second turn.
Yeah,
trying to see who got into him there.
You see, they just run right in the back of Mike and turned him up the racetrack. He's got a little damage to the right front corner.
Kenny Wallace ended up on the wall. That's Lonnie Rush and Tracy Leslie who got the worst of it.
Looked like Tracy Leslie climbed up the back or the side of Lonnie Rush's car.
Here's how they're running. At the caution, outside pole sitter Jeff Gordon took the lead from Jim Bound going into turn 3. Jim's big brother Chuck is third. Bobby Labonte and Mark Martin, 1 to go. Rest of the top 10, they're your point leaders, Bodine and Dodder, but for Bobby Labonte, not his style to run and charge too hard too soon. That's the way they're running. 1 lap will go green. Jim Bound and his team, and his dad runs his team. Dick went up and bought an engine at the Ted Condor auction of that team. They paid $6,000 for this engine, brought it home, and slapped it into this car and put it on the pole.
And $6,000 is nowhere close to what you normally pay for these motors, so got a pretty good deal, I would say.
Without knowing what they had or what's in it, they just popped it in there and ran it. And he sat on the pole. Tracy Leslie unable to get his lap back as Jeff Gordon pulls away. That's Leslie in 72, the Detroit gasket car. Jim Bound and Chuck gets together with Lonnie Rush. Fends him off, then Bobby Labonte right there. Right behind Chuck Bound. Mark Martin got shuffled back a bit in the order. Todd Bodine and Joe Nemechek are side by side. Battling for that championship. There they are. Top of your screen coming out of turn number 4. And Nemechek and Rush get together just a little bit.
Well, I tell you what, he's letting it be known he's racing to win the race, not worrying about points right now. Nemechek is.
They came off that corner 3 abreast. That's uncommon in short track racing. Almost ran out of room.
Down in turn 1, there are the point leaders side by side. Bobby Dodder now inside of Joe Nemechek as Todd Bodine has moved up a notch. Bobby Labonte up ahead of them. Up toward the front, Gordon leads, and the Bound brothers are going at it for second with Bobby Labonte. Nemechek the point leader. If the race ended right now, he would be the champion. Chuck Bound has moved ahead of brother Jim and taken Bobby Labonte with him on the inside. All the passing going on, but for Jeff Gordon taking the early lead, they've been passing on the inside.
Well, you know, when you come up on slow cars, they run where you need to be on the bottom of the racetrack. You go to the outside, he'll probably lose 4 or 5 positions. Jim Bound will now that he's hung up on the outside.
Got a little loose down in going into turn number 3, and 2 cars went by him on the inside. Among the point leaders right now, Bobby Labonte runs in 4th. 6th is Todd Bodine, and 8th is Joe Nemechek. Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon, who has broken the bank for money won on the Busch Grand National Circuit this season, is out front. Todd Bodine with Jim Bound and Joe Nemechek. A 1-second lead from Gordon. 1.9 seconds. Good battle here.
Neil, you see our point man right now, he's getting passed by everybody. He's thinking, God, if I could just get back on the inside, it sure would help.
Yeah, he started on the pole. Bound did, and now he's fell way back. Once you get that outside groove, you're going for a ride, but it's to the rear.
Speaking of way back, look at this pack of traffic. Jimmy Spencer trying to break free of traffic, as Robert Presley just did. Dale Jarrett's in the midst of that. Steve Grissom, Ricky Craven, and Tommy Houston moving up well. Houston will switch to Fords next year from Buick.
That's a good indication. That was the straightaway there. And this track is so small, you can see the cars actually making a turn, the complete straightaway. They will come off the corner and then go right back in. So it's very short straightaways here for passing.
Dale Jarrett taking Jimmy Spencer up through the pack. That's back about 21st spot. They worked their way under Lonnie Rush, whose car was damaged in that third lap accident. Back up toward the front, Chuck Bound and Bobby Labonte.
You know, it's kind of interesting. Top of the show, we heard Nemechek say his car was really, really good. He was going to the front, and we heard Labonte just be real conservative, and his car seems to be the best car right now. He's working his way right to the front.
4th and 5th place.
Well, you know, Bobby Labonte has to win the race, and Nemechek finished well back of him, and he's doing what he's got to do. He's going to the front.
I'll tell you what, he's doing more than he has to do. He's going around the outside of Chuck Bound, which is a big accomplishment on this racetrack, and it looks like he's going to make it stick. He's on the outside and around him.
Lap car darted to pit road, so Bound had to crack the throttle, and Labonte went on past. So Bobby Labonte moves up. In fact, that is now, let's correct, that's now 2nd position. You're riding with Mark Martin. He's the 4th place car. 4th place behind Chuck Bound, and then there's Bobby Labonte ahead of Bound and Jeff Gordon up there with the lead. And Labonte is closing it in on Jeff Gordon. He is erasing Gordon's lead.
It almost seems out of character for Labonte. He's kind of like Terry Labonte. He usually lays back and comes on, but like Buddy said, he's got to win the race today. He's going to put that effort out, it looks like.
Well, that last shot was out of the Winn-Dixie car of Mark Martin. He's moving up well, too. He'll be in the fray here in just a second.
4th place for that Ford. And closing. There's a look at Jeff Gordon, the man who's won more poles and more money than anybody this season. He goes to Winston Cup next year, as perhaps will this man. That's the rumor. Bobby Labonte will also have a Cup ride and run for Rookie of the Year in 1993. Definitely Gordon and Kenny Wallace will.
I'm telling you, Bobby Labonte is moving in like he's obsessed today. You never see Bobby Labonte make a move this early in a race. Here he comes, though. He's closing in on Jeff Gordon fast.
They're down to 2 car lengths. That's the lead. Cars on the lead lap here. Jarrett and Spencer with Presley and Grissom.
That usually brings the crowd on their feet, too. Mr. Excitement, the hometown favorite, racing each other like there's no tomorrow.
Dale Jarrett, his dad Ned has a grandstand named for him here. Ned's standing on top of the tower, spotting for Dale. I kidded him. I said, you're doing a radio broadcast today, but only to one listener. Back up front, Labonte has caught Jeff Gordon.
I tell you what, buddy, if he drives around him on the outside, he's going to show me something here.
Look at this.
I'm telling you what, that's impressive right there.
Not only did he pass him, he's going to drive away from him, it looks like, in just a matter of a couple of laps here.
That is unbelievable.
I guarantee you the people in Nemechek's pits are telling him what's going on, and they're going to have to get after him a little bit harder than they want to today.
Well, Todd Bodine's picked up the pace. He's side by side with Bobby Dotter. That's for 5th spot. And then Nemechek has moved up to 7th. So Labonte leads this race. 6th is Todd Bodine, the 3rd place point man, and 7th is Joe Nemechek.
You know, Neil, the awesome part of Labonte's pass is it don't look like Jeff Gordon's having any handling problems. He just drove by him and drove away like, you know.
It'd be different if he was falling back, but they're maintaining the lead ahead on the other cars. Chuck Bound's coming up on Jeff Gordon a little bit now, but Labonte just drove around him. But, you know, here's what's so critical. We're watching Labonte run there working lap traffic. On a small racetrack like this, it's so easy to get caught on the outside of a slow car and get pinned up on that wall or something. And, boy, they just can't stand that today. But I'm sure at drivers' meeting they warned them today that these point guys need a little bit extra room.
Chuck Bound moving up right underneath Jeff Gordon. He's going to try it on the inside for 2nd place and make it work. Lap car ahead, Richard Lassiter.
I think I see what Jeff's having problems with. He looks like he's a little bit loose right up off
Turn 2, Lassiter has spun. Everybody will get past him. don't think there was contact between he and, was it Chuck Bound?
Caution didn't come out.
No, will stay green.
Boy, that was close. That was right with the leaders that we were watching when he lost the car.
Just a quick twirl in turn 2, and we're back at it. Riding with Kenny Wallace as he chases Tracy Leslie. Now, I believe Tracy's gone a lap down. He is 1 lap down after that collision in lap 3. So Kenny will lap past Tracy Leslie's car.
Looks like Kenny's helping that thing turn. He leans that head over the left and gives you more left side weight there. He's working. He's trying to make this thing get around the corner.
Look at how many times you got to check that mirror on a short track like this.
That's coming up off the corner. He wants to make sure there's nobody on the outside when he lets the car just fly out to the wall, and you have to check it in and check it out every lap. So
well,
it keeps you busy.
Sure, they're telling him, Neil, that Bobby Labonte is coming up to lap him. Now, Labonte still has to clear Lassiter and Leslie, but that's why Kenny's got a mirror full. He's waiting on Bobby Labonte. There's Labonte moving up on Tracy Leslie. He has extended his advantage in traffic now to nearly half a straightaway on Chuck Bound. Remember, this track is only 1/3 of a mile, so half a straightaway is not that far. Now Labonte is the next car behind Kenny Wallace. There's Kenny looking ahead at traffic ahead. See our face cam there in the roll cage. And we may see Bobby Labonte coming up alongside here in a second.
There's Kenny, like you're talking about. There he is, but he's looking over. He sees him right now coming. He knows he's watching pull the inside and give him that inside, the outside lane to pass him on.
Yeah. See, he doesn't have to check that mirror anymore. He knows.
He can feel him now.
And he's got somebody on the radio telling him, you know, Bobby's here, give him room.
I tell you, that's good sportsmanship. You know, they're out there racing, but he realizes this is a national championship here, and he give him room, let him go.
Well, last year it was these 2 drivers fighting for that championship, Labonte and Kenny Wallace. So a healthy degree of respect there. And they'll be racing each other next year. Trouble in 2, it is Jeff Gordon. He was all by himself, it appeared, went into 1, lost the back end of the car, and spun up into the fence. Does not look to be major damage, but it'll give us our second caution of the day at lap 48.
Buddy, you must have hit the nail on the head a while ago when you said he was loose, because he turned it around by himself.
The man who sat on the outside pole here has spun the car and brought out the second caution of the day. We're live at Hickory on TNN. We'll be right back.
Superstar Reba McEntire.
Wonderful when everything's right, but sometimes wonderful.
Nashville Now, Monday on TNN. TNN is making history in the desert. For the first time, the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Competition comes to TV. Live. The Winged Wonders soar into view Sunday at 6:30 with an intro preview. Then, flag-to-flag coverage gets underway at 7. Now you don't have to wait till February for more live racing. Slick 50 Sprint Car World Series, tonight, live, only on TNN Motorsports. It's the farewell event. Alabama, Richard Petty, and 60,000 close friends are going to rock the Georgia Dome in a concert you won't forget. Live on the eve of number 43's historic final race, Alabama, Joe Diffie, Ricky Van Shelton, and Lori Morgan honor the king of stock car racing. Alabama salutes Richard Petty live Saturday night at 7 Eastern on TNN. Long live the king.
We're under caution for the second time today. Jeff Gordon has taken on 2 tires and gone back on the racetrack. It was a harmless spin all by himself, and he's back on the Speedway. Here's the way they're running. Labonte doing what he has to do to win this championship. He is out front early. That's a bit of a surprise. Chuck Bound, Mark Martin, Bobby Dotter. Good run so far. And Todd Bodine in 5th. Here's the rest of your top 10 with Nemechek in 7th spot.
One of the things that really cost Jeff Gordon on that deal was he didn't even hit the wall, but he got up there on the outside lane. It's no different than when you pull up to an intersection of the stop sign, you've got to wait till all the traffic goes by before you can go. He got caught out there, but he had to wait for the pace car to come along, so he lost the lap sitting out there. It's going to be tough to get it back.
Lonnie Rush and the 72 of Tracy Leslie also making stops. Work finished on the Jeff Gordon car. He goes back out. Hermie Sadler driving for Jack Ingram today. Stop as well.
stopped the lap before and put right sides on. And he came in, Jeff Gordon just came in and got left side, so he's on 4 brand new tires. If anybody can get a lap back, he should have a chance doing it now.
Let's go down to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, standing by with Bill Davis, and Bill, the back end of the car just seemed to come around. Did he say what happened?
I think he and Mark got together. The thing told him we're probably going to have to work on that. Here he is.
He's back now for another adjustment. They did change the left side tires last time in, so now they're going to work on the front end.
Gordon had fallen about 3 seconds behind Bobby Labonte at the time of that caution flag, and Labonte had built up a 2 1/4 second lead over Chuck Bound when we went to caution.
I don't doubt they wanted to work on that toe in that they were talking about, but you just don't have time on this size track.
If the race ended now, look at that. 1 point would decide this championship. Now, if they were tied at the end of today's race, I believe Labonte would be the champion based on more second-place finishes than Nemechek. They each have 2 wins. Unless, of course, Nemechek would win today, that would break the tie. Of course, if he wins today, we can't have a tie because nobody will get more points. You know all that. 53 laps complete out of 300 here today. Getting set for the restart. Lapped cars are on the outside. Chuck Bound spun the tires, and Bobby Labonte will get away with about a 3-car length lead.
Neil, that's one rule I wish they'd put in Winston Cup racing is the lead cars go to the inside on restart. So on a racetrack like this, the groove's on the bottom of the racetrack, and you need to be there.
Depends on the track, buddy. At some of the Cup races, aren't they starting the Winston Cup cars on the inside of some of the short tracks? The lap cars up high.
I think for the last 50 laps they go to that. All the rest of the times it's the fast cars to the outside. I like this rule.
There you saw Chuck Bound from inside of Kenny Wallace's car. Wallace is a lap down. And we'll go to Mark Martin's car, right behind Kenny.
Kenny's car was fading early. We saw him going a lap down just before the caution, so Mark Martin needs to get around him so he can work on the leaders a little bit. But look what small area you have to work on. When we always talk about it's nice to be able to pass on the straightaways, but there's not that much straightaway here. You just got to get the nose up under guy. Here he is right here, trying to get the nose under Wallace going down in the first turn.
Looking at Bobby Dotter, who'd like to move up on Mark Martin. Dotter, another unsponsored driver. Oh! Around is Dennis Setzer and Tom Peck at turn 2. Caution. Dennis Setzer is in a second Bill Davis car, teammate for this race to Jeff Gordon. There's a look at it, the Paramount Ford Montana Steakhouse car. It's his second Busch Grand National start. He ran at Charlotte in October of '91 in a backup ride. Qualified 5th. But fell from the race with engine trouble early on. He's in this is the car that Jeff won with at Charlotte. A little more suited there than it is to Hickory.
You know, when you see a spin like this at Hickory, you don't really blame anybody because you're running in such close quarters, like you said a while ago. Just any little touch, you're almost in a circle all the way around the racetrack, and if they just barely touch, it spins both cars out.
That's what happened there with Dennis Setzer and Tom Peck. We asked Bobby Labonte what stands out most for him, his memories of the 1992 season. Bobby?
Well, we just got to go out there and run the best we can, but we know at the same time we got to finish the race because if we don't, we could lose the 3rd place in points. So we got to be careful behind us because we don't want to lose that position. But we're going to try as hard as we can to win the race, and if we get lucky, then we might win the points championship.
The
Miller Genuine Draft Rusty Wallace stock car is back in town. So you better hold on.
Spread the word around. Get the seconds down.
Anything you can handle, we can handle. Yokohama High Performance Tires.
Quote, a mid-sized Dodge Dakota with an optional 230 horsepower Magnum V8 outpowers, outhauls, and just plain outpulls even full-size 5-liter V8s from Ford and Chevy. Unquote. Dodge, the most powerful line of trucks anywhere.
Get $500 cash back on new Dodge Dakotas.
Folks in these parts think Tom Lawton is the best thing to ever turn a wrench. But back east, they'll put their money down on the guys at McClellan's. It seems in every town there's always one place that does a little bit better job fixing your car. And it seems the things they all have in common are great mechanics, great service, and Napa parts. Look for the sign of quality car repair. Napa.
The Nashville Network's exclusive live coverage of the Pantry 500 is brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. Lots of live racing on TNN today. 6:30 p.m. tonight Eastern Time. You'll see live sprint car racing. From Phoenix, Arizona, Dick Berggren and Doug Wolfgang will be providing the commentary from the Slick 50 Sprint Car World Series. Live Sunday night sprint car racing all winter long, right here on TNN. Getting set to go green with 64 laps complete. Bobby Labonte, number 2 point man in the number 1 spot. Todd Bodine is 5th. Joe Nemechek is 7th as they battle for the Busch Grand National title. Good clean restart. Bobby Dotter in that bright red car having quite a run here. Mark Martin just ahead of him. You're in Mark Martin's car. And there's Bobby Dotter. Yeah, he's right there, harassing Mark Martin. That's for 3rd place.
All on those, how those brake ducts get any air in there. That car spun off turn 2, car number 39. Spun cut off 2nd turn.
Robert Huffman's car.
No caution.
Well, he's going again, and they backed up a little in the field. 2nd spin we've had without a caution flag. A lot of bump and run here at Hickory. This track looks pretty wide on TV, and it is as you sit here in the grandstand, but the width of the track where you can run looks very narrow.
They're using it all up, I'll tell you that. When they get them 2 side by side, they're using up the raceable part of the track.
Now, you could race up high, except that every lap, a little more rubber scrubs off those tires and floats up to the top of the racetrack. It becomes what we call the marbles. So if you go up there, it's like trying to drive on top of a bunch of marbles.
Well, Mike, what happens is everybody's running the bottom right now, and sooner or later it's going to get slick down there, and they'll start moving the groove out wider as they go.
We're only 70 laps in here at Hickory. Chuck Bound running in 2nd spot there behind Bobby Labonte. Chuck, former titleist, 1990. Labonte, the 91 champion. Lonnie Rush has taken his car behind the wall. Chuck Bound driving for Hubert Hensley, looking for his first win in his last 34, or rather 41 starts. 34, that's Todd Bodine's car.
With some damage on it, Mike. We haven't seen that. Looks like he's rolled the right front and the hood area back on the car. On that restart, he must have gotten into someone, and that's not going to hurt him as bad at this racetrack as most of them that we see these guys run, unless that thing flies loose or something.
That, or if it hit hard enough to move the radiator back just a little bit on one corner, maybe that fan blade get in there. Of course, they run electric fans on those, so it's not that critical.
Yeah, on the Busch Series, they all run the electric fans without a big blade on the front of the motor. So if he didn't knock any, if it doesn't fly off, they have the black blade, he should be okay.
Was that recovery or what?
Well, they'll get the pancake flipper and straighten that thing out on their next pit stop. Kenny Wallace is a lap down. That's Butch Miller just ahead. The Charlie Henderson car. Nemechek has spun at turn 4. Lights up the tires. Ricky Craven climbs up on the back of Tommy Houston, and everybody else gets through.
Well, let me tell you, the thing he didn't need was damage. If he damages that race car, he really damages his chance for the championship. He's lucky he didn't get hit. And
no caution.
No caution. Boy, that's really going to cost Nemechek.
Both Nemechek and Craven. Actually, Joe just flat spotted the tire, but Ricky Craven may have suffered quite a bit of damage when he climbed up on Tommy Houston's car. We stay green. Nemechek holding down a top 10 spot here, although he lost 4 positions on that move.
I did notice one thing, though. When Nemechek spun, he kept the tires moving instead of locking them up. I don't think he flat spotted them.
Good point. Ricky Craven's car is in trouble, however. and he is going to have to stop.
I'll tell you what that spin did for Labonte. Bobby Labonte, he can see Nemechek now. He can see Nemechek on the same straightaway, and he'll probably go all out to put him a lap down if he can.
Let's have a look and see what happened. Here coming out of turn 4 from our speed shot camera. There's Nemechek at the top of your screen.
Serious trouble right there. He was real lucky. You see the rear tire still moving on that car. He's getting himself in position to go ahead. And he was real lucky. Everybody think, there we go. Great camera work.
Turns car around, cranks it left.
Now you'll see Craven come in here. There's Houston. A little further. There goes Ricky Craven. He's already climbed up on Tommy Houston's car.
What happened to Craven? The 19 car got into the back of it.
Nemechek has dropped to 16th position. If the race ended now, Bobby Labonte would be the series champion by a good margin over Nemechek and Bodine. Ricky Craven has made his stop. Nathan Butke is on pit road. Under green, we're at lap 82. Robert Presley moving up on the point leader and passing Nemechek.
We're watching Labonte run, Mike, and now they got to be weighing out some options. They see Nemechek with trouble. Do you back the 44 car down and protect this big lead or do you bear down and put Nemechek a lap down and really know you got him? They're going to have to weigh it out. I believe you'll see Labonte try to put him a lap down if he can.
What do you think, buddy? I think he needs to lap him.
I would put a lap on him and then look at him in the mirror instead of through the windshield. I think that would be the ideal situation.
Good point. The other thing is when you're leading the race, hopefully you're out in front of all this commotion.
The other thing you have an advantage too. I tried to lead as many laps as I could during my career. Was the flagman always works for you, and then once you get by, they don't do that for everybody else in the field. So the flagman's working for the lead car all the time.
Good point. Let's ride with Mark Martin in 3rd place now. Coming up on Tracy Leslie, and then just ahead the Nescafe SD car of Chuck Bound. And Bobby Donner is still right there, trying to wipe the lens off our rear bumper cam on Mark's car. Yes, we recessed those lenses. We set them back a bit to try to protect them. That lens they use is about the size of a cigarette pack, and it's about $2 grand. So try to take pretty good care of it.
Well, it's hooked onto a $40,000 car, so which is worth the most? They don't have a lot of respect for our camera, I'll tell you that.
Here's Todd Bodine working in the outside of Tracy Leslie. And he has Tommy Ellis in 77. Tri-County Speedway car right behind him.
You see Craven there, he's having some problems. He's on the outside of the racetrack running pretty slow after that accident, yeah.
We're 90 laps complete here out of 300, and this man is leading not only the race, but the Busch Grand National Championship chase. We'll be back to Hickory right after this.
Splitfire earned a United States patent. Splitfire doesn't look like any other spark plug. And the patented Splitfire doesn't work like any other spark plug.
5 extra horsepower by merely installing these plugs. Quicker in the quarter mile. A 4.8% gain in mileage.
There's nothing like a Splitfire. You'll get more power and more mileage, or your money back. Get the guaranteed Splitfire advantage at leading automotive stores from coast to coast.
It's your boss on the phone. He says, do you still work here or not?
I called the airline like you said, and sure, there's a later flight. Tomorrow.
When you just can't wait to get started, start with the Champion. Pound for pound, the most powerful automotive battery you can buy. Get your Champion now by calling 1-800-289-4627 for a dealer near you.
I guess you could say I live life in the fast lane. That's why time with my family is so important. And when we all get together for dinner, we like to eat steak. That's why we shop at Winn-Dixie, because there's nothing like WD brand U.S. choice beef. You know, the best thing about life in the fast lane is when you put it in park.
After a season of hard driving action,
man, I sure could use a vacation.
Join Rusty Wallace, Ernie Irvan, Kenny Wallace, and other NASCAR personalities for the ultimate race fan vacation. Enter the 1992 Miller Genuine Draft Racing Cruise Sweepstakes and win a week-long all-expense-paid cruise for two to the Caribbean, where you'll sail in luxury aboard the SS Norway of Norwegian Cruise Lines. You'll fly round trip to Miami, your port of departure to the exotic world of St. John, St. Thomas, and St. Martin. Or win a Miller Genuine Draft Racing jacket, T&N cooler and cap. Or win an Inside Winston Cup Racing t-shirt and cap. No purchase necessary. To enter, send your name, address, and phone number on a postcard to Miller Genuine Draft Racing Cruise Sweepstakes, Post Office Box 10371, Stamford, Connecticut 06904. You must be 21 or older to win. Entries must be received by November 17th. Winners announced November 28th on Inside Winston Cup Racing.
"26 years ago, David Pearson, the number 6 Dodge, led here at Hickory. The surface was dirt, not asphalt, and it was a Plymouth, not a Pontiac, as Richard Petty comes broad sliding around the Speedway. We're under caution once again. Let's go to the Nemechek pit. Glenn?
Well, Mike, Joe Nemechek brought the number 87 Chevrolet in for right side tires. I talked to crew chief Vic Gangus right before that caution came out. He said the car was very loose. They didn't know what they could do about it. They got that brake, got that caution, changed right side tires. They put about 3 or 4 rounds of wedge or bite in the car. So I look for Joe to move back up through the pack. Boy, he was lucky.
Nemechek was 1 car length away from being lapped by Bobby Labonte. He needed a miracle, and he got one. Let's show you what happened.
We're looking down the front straightaway into turn 4. We'll see Rick Craven, that's him, coming down to the inside. Looks like he got tapped. He'd been riding around real slow. There's Nemechek passing him right now, and that's Labonte directly behind him in the red car. Here that car coming to the line, Mike, and it's right on top of him.
And caution wave with Labonte nestled right up against Nemechek's rear bumper. Could not put him a lap down. So now what's Bobby Labonte's strategy?
Well, Bobby Labonte don't have a strategy now. He just wants to stay out front, but Nemechek did exactly what he had to do. He had to have fresh tires on the right side now. He should have an advantage for 50, 75 laps now.
Understand you had a star pupil at the Buck Baker Driving School this week.
Did indeed. Bobby Allison come down. I tell you what, he's smooth as the day he got out of him. He's just as smooth, and I tell you, his attitude when he got in the car, he's kind of quiet, and he really got to talking with everybody and having a big time. I really enjoyed having him down there.
Now you do schools at both Rockingham and Atlanta. Where was this?
This was in Rockingham. Yeah, Bobby just was, you know, he's really having a good time. He stayed the whole weekend down.
Glad to hear it. Say hi to the Robinson family. Shauna was here to try to qualify for this race and missed the cut by 2 cars, and her dad suffered a stroke here in the pit area at Hickory. Was taken up to Catawba Regional, where he is resting comfortably. The rest of the family on the way into Iowa, and want to wish him well.
We were on Kenny Wallace's car. We saw the car falling back all day long, and they're working on it, putting tires on it. I'm sure they're making chassis adjustment because he's been off the pace.
1 lap will go racing behind the Oldsmobile safety car. Oh, Richard Lassiter just bammed into the, what was it, the 39 car as they were shuffling for position on the restart. Turned him around, but they got sorted out in line there.
Yeah, Bobby Labonte was right in the middle of that. He had to run down off the racetrack. Hopefully he didn't pick up anything in the tires because he had to get off the track.
Almost got whacked. That's Robert Huffman there that'll be right up with the leaders, and we're going to stay yellow here.
Labonte, you can tell his questioning in his car. He knew he had to get off the track and all.
He's got damage to the right front corner of his car there.
Yeah. That was the 39 car, Robert Huffman. Was trying to get up on the outside row to be first up in line for the restart. Richard Lassiter got into the back of Huffman, turned him around, and into Bobby Labonte's car.
It's Bobby's father talking to the NASCAR official, trying to figure out what's going on. Now Bobby's going to be concerned what that's doing. I don't think there's any damage here other than these air dams on the front of these cars are effective on how these cars drive. That front air dam nails the front end down where the car cuts in the middle of the corner. We got to see if he's as good as he was before this happened.
We're going to find out here in a lap or two.
They would be satisfied that he didn't get any real major damage to the car other than the front spoiler a little bit.
Good thing they keep that oil cooler on the left side, left front, and not the right front. Glenn Jarrett's down there. Glenn?
talked to Bob Labonte, and I asked him if that fender was against the tire. He said David Green, who used to drive in this series, was spotting for him, said it didn't look like it was on the straightaway. We're going to have to wait till the green flag drops to see what it does in the racing conditions. Awfully concerned about it. That was totally uncalled for.
I understand David Green may have a strong ride in this series for next year. We expect news at Atlanta. On that front, ready to go racing. 103 laps. Joe Nemechek, his championship hope saved by that caution flag for Ricky Craven's spin. Lap cars way up the racetrack, and everybody gets by underneath.
If anything happens to Labonte's car here, it should get pushy. It should get where it doesn't cut in the corner. Before he was running around the bottom, we seem to leave the race.
Mark Martin looking back now at Todd Bodine.
There's Bodine's damage that we saw earlier. He's got to roll back on in.
There won't be many cars undamaged when this one's over. Back up front, Labonte now has Chuck Bound looking for his first win in over a year.
Mike, I'm not so sure this is not answering the question that we had. Is Labonte's car is good? Nobody could stay within a straightaway of him a while ago, and now we see the 63 car really working on Labonte. It might have affected him just a little bit.
Dennis Setzer a little bit off the pace, and Tommy Sigmund, something may have been bent up on his car when he was shoved into Labonte by Lassiter there on the caution flag. Sigmund, or rather Huffman, Robert Huffman backing up as well.
That particular damage we saw should cause a push. If anything, it should take some spoiler away from the car. See how much higher he is up off the corner? We can see right there, Labonte's just not running the line he did before. Let's see what happens.
Dennis Setzer comes to pit road as we run with the leaders. Labonte leads this race. Todd Bodine is the 5th place car. Trouble in 3.
Ooh.
And Nemechek got hit as 4 cars go flying. But Nemechek was able to continue.
Look at Tommy Ellis up on top of the front of the Craven car.
That's where he just landed. He just came down on top of him.
There are very few one-car spins at a place like Hickory. Caution is out. 5th time today at lap 111. We'll be right back.
The road is the ultimate test. It demands the will, the determination, the energy to go further. At Texaco, you'll find that energy in System 3 gasolines for improved performance in all octane grades. It's not just in our products. It's also in our services. Everywhere you go. At Texaco, we meet the challenge of the road and then go even further.
Your first big snow, Joey. Here he comes.
Joey doesn't care that inside is the world's most energy-efficient furnace.
Here he comes. Here he comes.
Or that Carrier can save up to 40% annually on heating.
Look at him. He loves it.
All he cares about is how warm and comfy Carrier keeps it inside.
Joe?
If you care about energy efficiency and saving money, call your Carrier dealer.
Turn the knob, Joey.
Carrier, we're the inside guys.
A noble warrior advised, the art of protection springs from within. One must stay vigilant against one's unfragrant perspiration, lest one provoke a hostile response. Thus, a Norse ritual is Right Guard Sport Stick. An aromatic array of the freshest scents and maximum protection against disarming wetness. Confirming the wisdom, the best defense is not to offend. Right Guard Sport Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
What's ruby red, easily stashed away, and makes you look good fast? Yes, again, it's the Dirt Devil Broom Vac. Its powerful revolving brush tackles the toughest messes, and it's small enough to fit anywhere. So get the Dirt Devil Broom Vac and spruce up.
The Nashville Network's exclusive live coverage of the Pantry 500 is brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. Well, they're kind of piled up here at Hickory Motor Speedway. Here's the way the top 10 look. Under caution at lap 113. Labonte, number 2 in points, number 1 in this race. He would be the champion if it ended right now. Bound, Donner Martin, Todd Bodine running 5th. Jim Bound, Butch Miller, Jimmy Spencer, Ward Burton, and Tommy Houston fought his way to the front. He qualified way in the back. We had about a 6-car pileup in turn 3, and I do mean pileup. That is Tommy Ellis's car on top of Ricky Craven's. Both drivers are okay.
Mike, when I saw the 77 car the first time, it was about 5 foot up in the air, and the other car drove under me and came down a real hard impact. And the right front wheel is almost in the driver's compartment, Rick Craven's car.
We'll be back to Hickory under caution right after these messages.
A rough riding car may need more than new shocks.
Find and fix suspension problems yourself, and in the process, save some money and restore the ride.
We'll show you how this week on Shade Tree Mechanic.
Shade Tree Mechanic, noon and 9 p.m. Eastern today on TNN. Travel from Honolulu to San Diego to Providence to meet
America's biggest little entertainer.
You're so full of it.
Tell me, how was your first kiss?
What would you do?
It might happen.
I know what I'd do.
I hate that.
Why, you'll just love it. It's
cruel, but fun.
Hit the road with the Showtime Comedy Club Network.
Let's give a big round of applause. We can get them out here tonight. Really make them feel at home.
TBS invites you to the ultimate showdown at the PGA Grand Slam of Golf. Fred Couples, Tom Kite, Nick Faldo, and PGA champ Nick Price tee it up for $1 million in an event you can't see anywhere else but TBS. The PGA Grand Slam of Golf. Live primetime coverage November 10th and 11th exclusively on TBS.
The Nashville Network's exclusive live coverage of the Pantry 500 is brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. % of the population of Brownlee, Nebraska is here. 2 of them. They have to drive 68 miles to go to the store and bring a cooler with them to do it. Got a 1-room schoolhouse for grade 1 through 8 with 8 kids, and the folks here cheer for Robert Presley because their last name is Presley, but they're no relation. So, hi to Brownlee, Nebraska today.
Did you see the population of 20 or so?
Yeah, or so.
That counted lately.
Well, it's or so because 2 of them are here today.
That's right.
Well, you got to figure if it's 68 miles to the grocery store, this is just across the road to them.
That's right.
Boy, here's the thing. Nemechek sustained a lot of damage in that wreck. Let's go down to Glenn, please.
Well, Neil, he has the car took an awfully hard hit on the left rear. They brought it in to change the left rear tires 2 laps before this. He brought the car back in just now to double check everything. They seem to have gotten everything off the tire. Nothing seems to be rubbing, and the track bar is not bent. Joe Nemechek has just radioed in and said everything is okay, so they made another chassis adjustment. He's going to try it again.
Thanks, Glenn. You know, we spent a lot of our weekend here talking to drivers and teams and figuring out what's going to happen here. And, you know, the fellows that work alongside me are some of the hardest working guys in show business. Let me show you one of them. Jim Crabtree took this photograph at Charlotte Motor Speedway in 1978. Cars sitting on the line waiting to qualify.
Guess who that was?
Asleep in the wheel.
Maybe that's the reason I had too many wrecks. I wasn't awake when that thing started. Where did they find that?
Jim Crabtree shot that and brought it to us.
Okay.
Jeff Gordon's pit.
They said earlier that they thought they'd damaged the toe end, and there's a tie rod. That boy there is cranking the tie rod. He's readjusting the set on it.
Glenn's there.
Well, as Neil said, Bill Davis told us earlier the toe end was messed up on the car. They hadn't had a chance, hadn't had a caution long enough to adjust it. That takes some time, so they've used this lengthy caution to bring the car in and to try to reset that toe end. While I was down here, while I was talking, I checked with Vic Kangas, crew chief, on Joe Nemechek. I asked him, I said, what's the tire rule today? They have already used up their allotted tires. They only had 2 rights and 2 lefts given to them by NASCAR. They could change the cautions. But since they flat spotted the right side tires in that spin, NASCAR is going to give them 2 more right sides, so he can make another right side tire change.
Mike, I wonder what Glenn's doing in his spare time. He's interviewed 5 cars in the last minute and checked on all the tires. We're keeping him hopping on the short track.
That and selling cars.
That's right. I tell you, that's a good call by NASCAR. When they do take in consideration that you're involved in an accident, it waives the rule on those particular tires. But, I mean, you got to show them that thing is flat-spotted. You're not going to go out there and smoke a tire and come in and climb out of 2 free ones. You've got to show the damage.
Let's mention again that Tommy Ellis and Ricky Craven are both okay. Climbed out of their cars, looked around at the damage. And they're just now getting Craven's car up on the rollback. 119 laps complete. Sprint car racing, 10 weekends of it. 10 Sundays out at Phoenix, Manzanita Speedway. So those of you that like your racing live are going to get to see it all winter long right here on TNN. So stay with TNN all day. Speedway Sunday and thereabouts. We're going out to Phoenix.
Mike, I tell you what, I'm glad to hear about Doug Wolfgang's involvement with the broadcast. We did a show on him, and I've never met a guy as competitive as he was, and he had a real bad accident. And, man, I'm glad he's back around racing. I know he's going to like it.
He's back at the Speedway out there. He and Dick Bergeron will have the telecast for you tonight from Manzanita Speedway in Phoenix. 120 laps complete. Cleanup continues. We'll be right back to Hickory.
After a season of hard driving action,
man, I sure could use a vacation.
Join Rusty Wallace, Ernie Irvan, Kenny Wallace, and other NASCAR personalities for the ultimate race fan vacation. Enter the 1992 Miller Genuine Draft Racing Cruise Sweepstakes and win a week-long all-expense-paid cruise for 2 to the Caribbean, where you'll sail in luxury aboard the SS Norway of Norwegian Cruise Lines. You'll fly round trip to Miami, your port of departure to the exotic world of St. John, St. Thomas, and St. Martin. Or win a Miller Genuine Draft Racing jacket, TNN cooler and cap, or win an Inside Winston Cup Racing t-shirt and cap. No purchase necessary. To enter, send your name, address, and phone number on a postcard to Miller Genuine Draft Racing Cruise Sweepstakes, Post Office Box 10371, Stamford, Connecticut 06904. You must be 21 or older to win. Entries must be received by November 17th. Winners announced November 28th on Inside Winston Cup Racing.
It's almost time for the dinner basket crowd to come in. Are you ready to go? Get loosened up, Shirley.
I love this place.
Dinner at Burger King, and can you believe? It's table service. These are actual people eating actual dinner baskets at Burger King.
They gave us our drinks, and we sat down, and minutes later, they had everything on the table.
Served between when?
4 and 8.
And then what do I get beforehand before you bring the food out?
And popcorn.
Popcorn? It's your way right away.
I love this place.
The Pantry 500 on the Nashville Network is being brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Tommy Ellis will get to watch the rest of this one from a safer spot. He's standing atop the truck there in the infield.
Mike, he was on top of that car. That might be where he landed.
Might be.
Because he took a ride a while ago, I tell you.
Tough break. 1 lap will go racing. Most cautions ever in a Busch race, 26 back here in April for 132 laps. We won't come near that today, thank goodness.
Remind me the next time I do one of these races, would you guys, no coffee in the morning. I'm too hyper for this.
It's been an exciting one so far. 177 laps to go. And Bobby Labonte takes off on the restart. Pack thinned out just a bit through early attrition. You're riding with Mark Martin. Right behind Jeff Gordon. And Gordon just behind Bobby Dotter, who's up to 4th place. Dotter having a great run here today.
Dotter had a good run at Martinsville. Seems to be good on these short tracks. His car works well on a short track. He's right in the middle of it.
Here's your Napa Field standing update brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. See Dotter there in the picture as Tom Peck makes a pit stop under green. That bright orange 08 car.
Look at Mike Wallace there, and he looks like he's in 2nd place, but he's actually, I guess, a lap down. But He's running right with the lead car. That's what track position on a short track can do for you.
Also, he's made a pit stop where the other guys haven't, so he's a little bit fresher than the other guys on tires. But, well, I tell you, Chuck Brown's putting a lot of heat on him now. He's going to turn the car up under him. Like there's Chuck Brown in second place. He's trying to get around this lap car.
Yep, he got him, man.
Comes Dotter right with him behind him.
One of Bobby Dotter's group had a birthday last night. We're up at Montana Steakhouse. Tiny Holland, who's as big as his name implies, he runs the place, came out with the cake to set it down on the table and asked the lady how old she was. When she told him, he pulled out this huge paddle the size of a tennis racket and said, well, here, come and get your medicine.
Yeah.
She kept the cake and passed on the paddle.
Well, in the second shot, we see Bonnie lead, but Bobby Dotter is really working on it now for second place. He's all over Chuck Brown.
Dotter coming hard down into turn 3, tries to dive in and just runs out of room. Back to turn 1, second place. NASCAR black flagging Robert Huffman to pit road.
You know, Neil, every time I watch one of these races, I see Dotter running like this. He's up front every week and no sponsor on that quarter panel. Where are these people at? This guy needs some help.
Yep. Boy, and I tell you what, they're swapping a little bit of paint there. Dotter got out on the inside and Brown came back across, protecting the position there. Dotter's car seems to be really good in the corner, middle of the corner. We'll try him outside. Or maybe inside.
Got him. Now, who's got the motor? Chuck lets him go. Still early. Trouble in 2. 3 cars have spun, and Ward Burton is the one that gets left sitting there with Tom Peck's car at turn 2. Mike McLaughlin got in the middle of that and has really bashed up the right front of the Harry and Mike Ricci Coors car. Now there's a shame, because here is a young fellow with some serious talent.
You're right about that.
Hoping for a full-time ride in the Busch Series next season. He's won a couple up at New Hampshire in both modifieds and Busch Grand Nationals. And look at Tom Peck's car. The front end of that is gone.
I tell you, the short tracks really take its toll, but these things right here, they're going to tear a little bit of metal off and park them, either just ride the rest of the race. They're torn up too bad.
Lap 136, it's the 6th caution of the day. Ward Burton was involved in it, and I don't think they're going to be able to help that one too much.
A lot of stuff laying on the tracks. It'll take a while to clean. Here's a 10 car. You can see the front of it torn all to pieces.
Hermie Sadler's car stopped here at start-finish. He may have gained a lap from the leader under that caution, so they're holding him till the field comes around. Well, they'll clean it up, and we'll do it again here at Hickory after this.
When your engine is working hardest and needs protection most, Castrol GTX is the only leading motor oil that meets the world's toughest requirements for viscosity breakdown in every grade. Fact is, the only way you can get that kind of performance from any other leading brand of oil is like this. Castrol GTX, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Try Castrol Super Clean for tough, greasy jobs. If it won't come clean with Super Clean, it won't come clean.
Monroe introduces road sensing technology. A new breed of Monroe shocks and struts that give you added control. New road sensing shocks and struts, only by Monroe. Designed to adjust automatically to give you added control without sacrificing comfort. Now, comfort and control are automatic. New road sensing technology, only by Monroe.
Only a Pep Boys Automotive Supercenter could offer so much. Thousands of brand name parts and accessories in stock day and night, 7 days a week. Car or truck, import or domestic, Pep Boys will make sure you get the part you need when you need it. Pep Boys, the Automotive Supercenter.
In case you need to push your truck,
Yokohama high-performance light truck tires.
The road is the ultimate test. It demands the will, the determination, the energy to go further. At Texaco, you'll find that energy in System 3 gasolines for improved performance in all octane grades. It's not just in our products. It's also in our services. Everywhere you go. At Texaco, we meet the challenge of the road and then go even further.
Packed house here at Hickory, North Carolina. 9,000 in the seats, about 3,500 out on the grass and in the infield. Here's the tail end of it.
Well, you see Ward Burton sideways. The 19 car comes in and just couldn't get slowed up enough. He slowed up as much as he could, but they still had pretty good impact.
At the end of it, Joe Nemechek just scooting by on the outside. Labonte is the leader and in position to clinch the championship the way we run right now. Todd Bodine back in 5th there, the 3rd place point man. That takes you back through 10th position. Joe Nemechek is 11th right now. 13 cars on the lead lap.
Well, I'll tell you, Mike, with all the problems that's happening right now, just a while ago on that caution when Nemechek was able to keep him going a lap down, it's really paying off right now.
Jeff Burton was involved in that one as well. The TIC Financial car will change colors next year. It'll be white and carry Baby Ruth on the side. Phil Martocci's picked up that sponsorship that was with Bill Davis this year.
Neil, I've seen some telltale problems there. I've seen smoke coming out of the nose of that car. It looks like radiator busted.
Well, you've seen that. How does he see anything? Look where that hood is.
He's watching his carburetor about all he can see right there. But it's like Buddy said, sometimes you go out and see tire smoke, but that car was sitting dead still and must have a hole punched in the radiator because it looked like the steam engine sitting still.
Mike McLaughlin was in that. Tom Peck was involved. And Hermie Sadler.
The new name for this thing's going to be the Noseless 300 next year. Yeah, they're in the car out there and hadn't got some kind of damage that I see on the racetrack right now.
Yes, they went across start finish line. The ones that don't have the nose tore up has got the rear tore up on them, so everybody's got a little bit of damage. Could be the survival of the fittest like we had earlier this year.
One lap will go racing. We're coming up on halfway here in 7 laps. If it ended right now, Bobby Labonte would be the champion over Joe Nemechek and Todd Bodine. Jeff Gordon would end up 4th in the points. Robert Presley, Kenny Wallace, Butch Miller, Ward, and Jeff Burton, and Tommy Houston would be the top 10.
Got a few twists in this restart. Labonte's on the inside, but Kenny Wallace went in and put tires on. Maybe this is opportunity for Kenny Wallace to get that lap back. We'll have to see.
Kenny's in 14th spot, 1 lap down. Here they come. Make that 13th spot as the restart goes on without Jeff Burton. He's still in the pits, and Kenny Wallace is back in this race.
Is that Neil Bonnet smart or what, huh?
So I put those tires on. It's supposed to do that. The key now is he's got to hold Labonte on and hope for another caution.
Here comes Jeff Gordon. He's in the same position as Wallace. 1 lap down, trying to get back on the lead lap. New 2nd place car, Bobby Dotter. What a great run he's had today.
There's Labonte trying to get back under Kenny Wallace. He's got to be concerned with going on. He can't wait on Kenny.
No, Wallace couldn't clear him and pull down into the low groove, so Bobby is right at him again.
Boy, oh boy, that 44 car is hooked up, Neil. On old tires to be able to run that fast, that's something to like.
Look at Jeff Gordon. They made some chassis adjustments. We saw him working on the towing on the 1 car. Evidently, they've helped him because he's a lot better than he was earlier.
Gordon in the number 1 trying to get back into this show. He, like Wallace, is a lap down. The 2 drivers that fought for last year's championship now fight for the head of the line. Kenny Wallace in the Dirt Devil Pontiac, the Slim Jim Chevy of Bobby Labonte.
Boy, Labonte just knows if he can get on by him and use the entire racetrack, he's a lot easier on his tires. If he has to pinch him down, he's using up a lot more tire than he wants to.
Well, right there, if he could move out against the wall and get the front straightaway to really work for him. Up, we got to spin it.
Tommy Houston, turn 2. And yellow comes out. Houston could not get that car turned around with all that traffic.
And Bobby Labonte kept the Dirt Devil car back. He's still a lap down.
7th caution comes out at lap 150, halfway. Harmless spin by Tommy Houston, but it will take Houston off the lead lap. He was the 9th place car. So now there are but 11 on the lead lap.
Somebody tapped, looked like Nemechek might have got into the back end of the 6 car of Tommy Houston. They touched for whatever the reason, coming off 2, and the 6 car of Tommy Houston goes around.
Houston trying to refire the car and get the Roses Buick turned around. We'll take this pause from Hickory Motor Speedway and be right back.
Oil. It's the lifeblood of your engine. That makes your oil filter your engine's most vital organ. That's why Fram keeps going the extra mile to make the best protection even better. The Fram Extra Guard oil filter. Unique glass fiber paper stops more dirt than any other filter for the best protection ever. Fram Extra Guard, American or import, it's an extra lease on life.
Miller Genuine Draft congratulates Bobby Rahal on winning the 1992 PPG IndyCar World Series Championship. When we said he was flying, we weren't lying.
It's your boss on the phone. He says, do you still work here or not?
I called the airline like you said, and sure, there's a later flight. Tomorrow.
When you just can't wait to get started, start with a Champion. Pound for pound, the most powerful automotive battery you can buy. Get your Champion now by calling 1-800-289-4627 for a dealer near you.
Last year, Davey Allison added something new to his car. It wasn't wider tires or a slicker shape. It was the same Haviland Formula 3 motor oil you can buy, straight off the shelf, to add more life to your car with complete protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Now, we're not saying it was Haviland Formula 3 that gave Davey the energy to lead more major NASCAR races than anyone last year and win this year's Daytona 500. But we're not saying it wasn't.
After this run-in with Elmo Langley in 64 and Curtis Turner in the number 41 Ford, Richard Petty would bring his Plymouth to pit road. Dale Inman, Morris Petty, and the crew would go to work 26 years ago. Still a lot of pit work here at Hickory, but it's a different story today as the Busch Grand National cars fight for their series championship on this, the final day of the season. We just went back under green a lap ago. 156. This time, Bobby Labonte got a good jump on the start. And it's Bobby Dotter now getting underneath Kenny Wallace, keeping Wallace a lap down, and Jeff Gordon. Third place car, Chuck Bound, is trying to root for some running room in the middle of that pack.
Just as that caution came out a while ago, it might have been a good thing for Labonte. He ran about 5 laps on the inside and heated his tires up in the car, but Dotter drove up under him trying to pass him just as the caution came out, so cool him down, but it looks like Dotter's coming after him again.
11 cars on the lead lap. Labonte the leader, Dotter in second, Chuck Bound in third, Mark Martin in fourth. Fifth is Todd Bodine. Sixth is Butch Miller. Seventh is Jim Bound. Eighth, Jimmy Spencer. Ninth, Steve Grissom. 10th is Joe Nemechek, and 11th was Robert Presley. Everybody else a lap or more down. Let's go back to fourth place. Todd Bodine trying to track down Mark Martin. And you're right along with Mark Martin. There is the front end of Todd Bodine's car. You can assess the damage for yourself.
Neil, a whole lot of shaking going on there. I don't think anything's hooked together.
There goes Todd right on the inside, but he's got up under him. Mark Martin got hung on the outside. We see Butch Miller coming by also.
The Food Country car going past.
Boy, did you see Todd Bodine waving? The car got sideways in front of him up there. Bodine threw his hand up. Almost had a big chain reaction wreck right there while we were watching.
Yeah, Dennis Setzer got a little sideways, but gathered it back in. Up front, battle for the lead is heating up. Dotter's putting the pressure on. Down in turn one.
Neil, watch Bobby Dotter when he starts in the next corner. He just closes right in on the 44 car. He's getting in the corner a lot better than...
Bobby Dotter, native of Chicago, followed his dad up into the ARCA circuit, and now he's going for the lead. Trouble in 4. Tracy Leslie spins it, backs up the racetrack away from harm's way. They're going to run to the flag. Leslie has spun it down to the track apron. Here come the leaders. And it'll be Dotter up front at lap 165, 8th caution flag of the day. While they battled for the lead.
I'll tell you, Bobby Dotter's been working on all those leaders. Pit road is closed. Looks like Labonte might want to take a look at pit road, but it is closed.
At least for another lap, Neil.
This might be a little bit like you saw at Martinsville. Bobby Dotter's on the Hoosier tire. All the other guys on the Goodyear, and it seemed like Dotter was working good as the race went on. We'll just have to see what happens.
Third race that Bobby Dotter has led this year. One win came along after everybody had departed. Jeff Burton had a win taken away at, I think it was at Pulaski, Virginia, was it? Or was it South Boston? Bobby Dotter got that win. Had a couple of top 5s. Well, if you're going to go sponsor hunting, there's no better place to do it than from the front of the pack.
Chuck Bound seems to be the only leader right now willing to come in. Well, I say that just as I say that, there come some other guys in. 2 lead cars stayed out.
Butch Miller, Mark Martin, Jim Bound on pit road among the cars on the lead lap. Let's have another look at the race back to the flag.
At this time right here, they were already, he was making this pass as the caution was coming out. He had actually cleared him before the caution, and he beat him back around the line.
And Tracy Leslie did a good job of getting that car down to the track apron after it was spun up in the top groove at turn 4. There's Leslie going a second lap down.
Boy, Butch Miller pitted, almost got caught in the pits, but did beat the pace car out.
Kenny Wallace, Tommy Houston, Mike Wallace, Hermie Sadler. Tommy Houston, who lapped the field here en route to a victory in 1988 at Hickory, and who won here in the spring. There's Chuck Bound on pit road and riding with Mark Martin.
Talking about Mark Martin, he's got some damage on the rear of that car, and I noticed he come in, got right side, come right back in, got left side, to about 4 rounds of bite in that car.
Look here, parallel park. This ain't going to get it. Mark Martin has finished first, but Jim Bound had him blocked in. There was nothing they could do. There's such a small pit area. They were parked in their parallel. There's no way to get out like that.
Now, Chuck Bound has pitted twice on this caution, so likely he's got all 4 new tires on the car. Let's have another look at Tracy Leslie's spin as we continue under this caution, the 8th one of the day.
But everybody come out forward.
They got a little help from behind, just turned him right around. He's real lucky here that he didn't decide to turn down, or he'd have really got tagged.
Kept going.
But he's also got that thing. He shoved it up in reverse because after this stop, he backed the car on around to the inside. Real smart move on his part.
Good driver and a good spotter. Letting him know when that section of track was clear, he could get it back around and down off the racetrack.
Give 1 to go again.
170 laps complete. 130 to go. They'll also run a 200-lap late model stock car feature here today.
Yeah, he's getting ready to go. He's shoving that thing around different gears, scrubbing those tires off.
Glenn Jarrett walked up to him yesterday. He says, Kenny, I need to do an interview with you. He says, but if it's all right, I'll hold the microphone.
Yeah. Rusty helped him last time.
Yep. Yep.
I tell you, race car drivers are intense, and that's just the sport with it. Where
You see Dale Jarrett on the outside there trying to get a lap back.
Jarrett is 1 lap down. And Jarrett has the measure of Dotter off turn 2, but can't clear him going into the corner. Dotter fights right back on the inside. And Dale Jarrett goes on to the tail end of the lead lap.
Boy, Dotter's not giving him any room.
He better not. You know, those Jarretts run well here at this racetrack, so he's trying to keep him that lap down if he possibly can.
Hasn't raced here in some time, but it's his home track, and he wanted to come and run here in this final event of the season.
It's hard to take the race out of a racer. He wants to come back to his hometown where he really got his start in racing right here and run today, and he's having a lot of fun.
As we mentioned, his dad, Hall of Famer Ned Jarrett, up spotting for Dale today. And trying to get him back on the lead lap. Donner the leader, Labonte is second, and Todd Bodine is now third. Robert Huffman makes a pit stop under green.
Here was Donner, who worked real hard to take the lead. There they go, touching down in the corner. We saw them get together. Here's Labonte sticking a nose back up under him. Jared comes right back on the outside.
But that's not the fast way around here, even with those new tires.
I bet Labonte's saying, man, I wish I was in front of these two guys. Let him do whatever he wanted to. He's still got the national title he's running for.
And he's got Todd Bodine right on his back bumper, and Bodine's still very much in this title chase. Joe Nemechek still on the lead lap. Back at 10th spot now, unofficially.
Donner's in the lead, but now Labonte's going to have to work real hard with Jared to stay in second place. Jared is lap down, fighting to get that lap back, and Labonte's had to work awful hard to try to run Donner back down.
Labonte, though, has driven away a bit from Todd Bodine, who is the third place car. Jeff Burton has fresh tires moving up, but many laps down after that stay on pit road. Jimmy Spencer up into the fourth spot.
I was just fixing to say that car is really moving well, and he's moving right up on this front pack. Jimmy Spencer is.
I'll be in that picture in a second. And now let's correct scoring. We're reported Joe Nemechek up in the 5th position. He is right behind Spencer. There's Joe in 87. If the race ended right now, Nemechek would be the champion by 18 points.
Something to keep in mind, though. Nemechek has used all his tires up. Maybe they said they might give him 2 more for the right. Labonte has not used any of his spare tires, so he's still going to have an edge at the end of the race if things go his way.
Tight pack of cars. On the outside, Jeff Gordon, or rather Dennis Setzer. Kenny Wallace is right in the middle of that. Pulling up on Nemechek, left side of your screen, and Spencer. They are 4th and 5th. Kenny is a lap down. Wallace in 12th place unofficially right now.
Look at that, Neil. Dennis Setzer's on the outside, and Nemechek wanting to go, but what can he do? The racetrack's only accommodating 2 cars right now. Up, big spin, right?
And everybody's in it. Nemechek hard on the brakes. He gets by.
Yeah,
a lot of damage, though.
Spencer and Setzer. Then Steve Grissom, trying to race back to the flag, piles into Chuck Bound. Both cars get through, and that's Dennis Setzer in the other Bill Davis car, rubbing everything on the rear end. 9th caution, lap 185, and Joe Nemechek has another close call.
No, he's got more than a close call. He's got a lot of front end damage on his car. Nemechek does.
Yeah, it looks like it might be something they're going to have to do a lot of work on. He just worked himself back up in position where he was still in contention for the lead for the championship, but now this is going to hurt him.
There's Nemechek's car, damage to the left rear and the right front corner.
I'm like you, buddy. What concern is his right front damage. We'll get a look at it. We'll try to tell what he's got.
It's pushed back in on the right front wheel there. You see right on the top of the wheel there, that's a big problem. They got to do some work on that.
Pit road not yet open. Glenn Jarrett is in Nemechek's pit waiting for that car to come in. We'll go to him then. And Spencer and Nemechek get together a little bit.
That was the case where Nemechek was shaking his car around to see what it felt like. Then Spencer's going to go up there and repay him.
Oh, man.
They're just beating and banging on each other on the caution.
Pit road will open this time around.
You know, we go to super speedways, these things look like airplanes, aerodynamics. They come to here, they look like battleships. They just build them where they'll take a beat now when it comes to short track stuff.
The 2 leaders have pitted. Donner and Labonte are in. So is Todd Bodine. So every driver involved in this championship is on pit road, but the one who may stay there the longest is Nemechek. Chuck Bound is also in. Glenn is down in Joe Nemechek's pit.
Well, Mike, Joe has brought the car in. There is damage on the right side, as Buddy said. They're pulling that fender off the tire right now. Jimmy Spencer came up and gave Joe a shot under caution there. I guess he was angry about what happened. NASCAR official Steve Keith came over and told Joe's brother John that they were going to park Jimmy Spencer for that incident. So number 20 is going to be set down for the rest of the day. They got the fender off the tire. He appears to be okay. That car is battered and beaten, but it's still running. Bobby Labonte is still in. He's getting 4 tires. Good stop for him. They changed all 4 tires. As Neil had said, he had not changed any, so he's on fresh rubber the rest of the way. Only 113 laps left. It's Bobby Labonte's race.
Let's see if we can figure out what happened.
NASCAR
down there in the corner.
NASCAR just set a 5-lap penalty to the 20 car of Jimmy Spencer.
Looks like Spencer and the 4 car got together coming up off the corner. There goes Spencer down the inside. Look at Nemechek. He got into the rear of the car, did a lot of damage.
Let's see if somebody turned Dennis Setzer, though, to key that off. That's Kenny Wallace right behind Setzer. No? He and Jimmy Spencer were the cars involved.
Well, I see why Spencer was mad, but it was nothing Nemechek could do. He got sideways, and Nemechek hit him, and it started that reaction there. But still in all, he shouldn't be mad at Joe.
Look at this right here. 3, they're crawling all over each other. 3 abreast just banging through the middle of the field there. 4 cars smoking terrible on the inside.
That was Steve Grissom trying to get back to the line and beat a few cars back. He is one of the cars on the lead lap. They're framming and bamming here at Hickory. We'll be right back.
Join Supergroup Alabama, Joe Diffie, Ricky Van Shelton, and Lori Morgan for the farewell event. Alabama salutes Richard Petty live Saturday night at 7 Eastern on TNN. Long live the King.
And it's Billy Ray Cyrus, country music star and host of new home video, NFL Country.
Country music in the NFL. Man, that's a great combination.
Girl, that guy. Hey, Billy, tell him about the Super Bowl sweepstakes.
Well, the grand prize is a VIP trip for 2 to the 1993 Super Bowl, hosted by me.
First prize includes Billy Ray CDs and the new NFL Country home video. To enter, send a postcard with your name, address, and telephone number to Billy Ray Cyrus Super Bowl sweepstakes. P.O. Box 10346, Stamford, Connecticut 06904.
And send in your postcards.
This TNN sweepstakes brought to you by Castrol GTX.
They're just finishing up cleanup here at Hickory. 191 laps complete. Let's show you another angle and show you how little time drivers have to react when something happens here.
Okay, you can just see him coming right now. And when this thing starts, you just see Jimmy Spencer going. Look at this. Looks like the county fair and bumper cars through there.
They just ricocheted on each other all the way. They got to the front straightaway. There's the 4 car. That was the 4 car. Must have tore an oil line off.
And here, afterwards, under caution.
Okay, Nemechek cleaned his tires right there. Runs over into the 20 car, and then
a little love tap.
On down the straightaway there, the 20 come back and was cleaning his tires and bumped into him a little bit. So.
Purely accidental.
Spencer has been penalized. He's still sitting on pit road.
Glenn Jarrett?
Fast down here that I can't keep track of, but we do know Joe Nemechek's car seems to be okay. He has fresh right side tires. Bobby Labonte has fresh rubber all the way around. Joe beat Bobby out of the pit, so there's only one position separating them right now. I don't know what's going to happen next.
Nemechek is 6th in the race, Labonte 7th, and Todd Bodine 8th. That's the way they came off pit road. And Robert Presley is the leader, but he is smoking from what looks like a tire rub on what, the right rear?
Got a lot of smoke. It's hard to tell which one it is right now.
Definitely the right rear.
Watching it from Kenny Wallace's point of view, the fender is all torn off Presley's car.
The reason it's the fender rubbing, it's not on there anymore. It's just laying on top of the tire.
Steve Grissom is in 2nd. Jim Bound and Mike Wallace scraped together all out of 3 and 4.
Boy.
It is heating up
there
here.
There it goes around.
He's lost it. Presley in a cloud of smoke.
Let me tell you, that might be the best thing that ever happened. We saw Presley keep going. Smart move on Presley's part. He was just being black flagged, was going to have to come in. Now that this caution's out, he's going to get to do this under the caution.
Steve Grissom becomes the new leader. Grissom, it's a good thing Grissom's in the jam car today, because on that last caution, he jammed his way through the whole field, and the track position paid off. He is the new leader, the man who won down at Volusia County Speedway in Barberville.
You think the body men at all these shops love to see them rolling these little half-mile racetracks? They don't bring anything back but a bent-up garbage can. Look at this car.
I'll tell you.
Not a straight place on it.
I don't have a garbage can that beat up. Labonte and Nemechek were side by side when that happened. Labonte ended up with a big advantage. We're under caution with 103 laps to go. We'll be right back to Hickory.
It's a big investment. Get the most out of it. Change the oil every 3,000 miles. And do it yourself with quality Pennzoil motor oil from Walmart. Only Pennzoil promises performance, protection, quality, and only Walmart gives you Walmart savings every day of the year. Every 3,000 miles, put fresh oil in your car. But first, come to Walmart and put Pennzoil in your cart. Your car will last longer, your budget will too. Walmart. Always.
We saw that by moving its wheels toward the corners, we could make a sedan handle like a sports car. We saw that through precise tuning, we could vary the road feel, giving you a choice of 3 different suspensions. We saw how tires designed to our specifications could enhance not just handling, but quietness. And now that we've seen what's possible in a 4-door sedan, we can't see building one any other way. Intrepid. This changes everything.
I guess you could say I live life in the fast lane. That's why time with my family is so important. And when we all get together for dinner, we like to eat steak. That's why we shop at Winn-Dixie, because there's nothing like WD brand U.S. choice beef. You know, the best thing about life in the fast lane is when you put it in park.
She's an 83 with over 140,000 on-road and off-road miles. I must be in and out of it 150 times a day. It's a wonder the doors don't fall off. Only trouble was when a pig charge caved in my door. I only use AC Delco. Cheaper parts can cost you a powerful lot. Of course, so can pigs.
AC Delco parts. It's like buying time.
TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Pantry 500 is being brought to you by AC Delco. It's like buying time. Robert Presley, Steve Grissom made pit stops. Let's quickly go to Glenn.
Well, the excitement again was crazy down here. When Presley came in, he had his helmet off. Tommy Ellis got in the car. They lost the lap. I'm going back up on the truck where Ellis was. It's a lot safer.
For Robert Presley, and now Presley, or rather Ellis, brings that car back to pit road after just a lap or 2. We're back under green. Bobby Labonte is at the front because Steve Grissom came in twice for 4 tires, 2 on each side. If the race ended right now, Nemechek by 3 points would be the champion. He is still running in the pack with Labonte the leader, Todd Bodine in 3rd, and Nemechek 5th right now. Or make that 6th, 4th and 6th. Labonte the leader, Mark Martin, Jim Bound, then Todd Bodine, Butch Miller, and Joe Nemechek.
Whatever chassis changes they did to Mark Martin's car seems to be working for him, Neil. He's catching right up to the lead car now.
Yeah, they've really worked on that thing. Those guys don't hesitate. Mark Martin will make you change your car all day. He's not hesitant to make chassis adjustments. It looks like they went the right way.
96 to go. Tommy Ellis. Oh, and Nemechek gets turned around off the front of Spencer's car.
Spencer's moving again.
Caution is out.
Nemechek's cars, I'm sorry, got going. He didn't lose a lap.
Man.
He may have thought he had Spencer cleared as he came down the racetrack.
More front end damage.
Not sure on that one. Spencer was not really quite up to speed. Tommy Houston had given Spencer a wrap. Let's have a look at it. And Nemechek might have thought he had him cleared here.
Really got together going in that first turn.
Nemechek got it right back in gear and got going again. And the black flag is out for Tommy Ellis. Or excuse me,
Spencer.
I'm so used to saying that.
Yep.
The black flag is out for Jimmy Spencer. Sorry, Tommy.
Yeah, we just had a man walk to the window here from NASCAR and say that's it, he's out.
Yeah, we're told he'll be given the thumb and that Spencer will be ejected from the race. Again, the drivers' meeting. You know, anytime a championship gets close, they always tell the drivers, you got 3 guys out here running for the title. Run your race, run to win. Try to give those guys a little room so they can battle for that championship themselves. And now in the pits, Nemechek, Grissom, Jeff Gordon. Tommy Ellis in relief of Robert Presley and Chuck Bound. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, once again, we're in Joe Nemechek's pit, and I've tried to keep an open-minded view of this, but I was looking right at that incident. Spencer waited on him. He waited till Joe got beside of him, and he turned right into him. They're working on the right front of the car right now. There doesn't appear to be too much damage that they can't repair. The car is in shambles, he's down his way. But again, they had to change right side tires. It's just, it's been one of those kind of days for Joe Nemechek, but by gosh, they're still out there trying.
And Spencer got a bit of it there with the right front.
Spencer making a motion to the flagman there. There's a replay going down in the corner.
See, Tommy used to give Spencer the boot there.
Ooh. Boy, awful wide down there. It's,
yep.
You know, if they hadn't have had that confrontation of caution before, you might leave a little more gap in there for questioning. And I think NASCAR's call was probably because it was 2 times in a row those 2 cars got together. There's Spencer down the inside. NASCAR's holding him at the end of pit road. But they said they were going to park him, not penalize laps, so we just have to see what happens.
You know, if I was Nemechek's crew, I believe I'd bring him back in and work on that right front corner. That fender's torn in half, Neil. This may create a problem when he gets back up to full speed.
Well, he can afford to give away the track position and do that, buddy. Although Joe is the 5th, or right there, 6th place car. We're carrying 12 cars now on the lead lap. He is pitting. Kenny Wallace and Dale Jarrett, a caution ago, did get back on the lead lap.
Here they are. They're back in there. Just like Buddy said, they've got enough damage. They need to. They're going to let him put tires on the car because he did spin. You know, no doubt, probably flat spotted the tires. It's a bad thing to happen, but you know, he said he was out of tires for 4 down. He's putting 4 on, so they gave him that option, I guess, to go with new tires since he did spin.
90 laps to go in the Busch Grand National Series season. All 3-point contenders still on the lead lap. Bobby Labonte in the lead of both the race and the point chase right now.
Well, I drive a race car for a living. I depend on the parts and pieces in my car. And I feel so confident knowing that Pennzoil is protecting the moving parts inside of my engine. Pennzoil's quality and protection give me the confidence I need to do my job without second thought. The protection that Pennzoil offers this race team makes us feel great. That's why I have the confidence to use it on the street and in my race car. I recommend Pennzoil to everybody. Pennzoil, performance, protection, quality.
Quote, a Dodge Ram pickup with a Magnum Cummins diesel has the power to out-torque, out-pull, just flat-out work Ford and Chevy diesels. Unquote. Dodge, the most powerful line of trucks anywhere.
Now get $500 cash back on regular cab Dodge Ram Cummins diesel pickups.
A noble warrior advised, the art of protection springs from within. One must stay vigilant against one's unfragrant perspiration, lest one provoke a hostile response. Thus, a Norse ritual is Right Guard Sport Stick, an aromatic array of the freshest scents and maximum protection against disarming wetness. Confirming the wisdom, the best defense is not to offend. Right Guard Sport Stick. Anything less will be uncivilized.
Over 1 million people each week walk into AutoZone, and taking care of them means having what they need when they need it. That means stocking a lot of parts for a lot of cars. Now, nobody can stock everything, but we stock more than most. And how do we know which ones to carry? That's easy. We listen to our customers, because nobody knows better about what you want than you. So the next time you walk through that door, you might think of yourself as a customer, but we think of you as the boss.
The tug of war between Johnny Benson Jr. and Mike Eddy ended with Eddy's incredible 7th ASA championship, but not without an intense battle. Both men have played cat and mouse and have fought a vigorous race all season long. Now, TNN Motorsports recaps this exciting racing challenge. Relive all the great times from a year of great racing action. The ASA Championship Special. Next Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern, only on TNN Motorsports.
They were about to restart this race. Jimmy Spencer tried to return to the racetrack, was denied that opportunity by the Busch Grand National officials. Glenn Jarrett is down in the Dick Moroso pit.
Well, Mike, Jimmy Spencer has climbed from the car. Jimmy, what's going on?
Well, you know, Glenn, I'll tell you something. We ran real well there and got bumped in the back. Got spun out, and I'll tell you something. I hated what happened there. Somebody let somebody come out of the pits there, and, you know, I don't know who I run into, but I sure in heck didn't mean it. But NASCAR thought it was my fault. They penalized me. My car owner decided to park the car, but, you know, Daly's first day people have been great to me all year long. I really think we had a shot at winning this race. Looking forward to next year.
Well, that's the version from the driver's point of view in car number 20.
There's the replay. You see Tommy Houston into the back of Spencer, who then gets going again. And into Joe Nemechek. I think Spencer was describing the previous incident.
Yeah, we overlooked, look at Chuck Bound up there in the wall. We overlooked that. Chuck's been running exceptionally well in this race, and he got involved in that accident too, really hurt him.
Chuck, one of several drivers trying to end their season with a victory who have not won this year. .217 laps down. Bobby Labonte is the race leader. Mark Martin, Jim Bound has had quite a run today. He's third as we're ready to go back to green. Todd Bodine is fourth. Butch Miller is fifth. Kenny Wallace is sixth. Bobby Donner is seventh. Dale Jarrett eighth. Steve Grissom in the ninth position. Chuck Bound is 10th, and Joe Nemechek is 11th.
Jim Bound moving into third. He's really running well right now, too. That started from the pole, moved right back up to the front again.
He faded real early in the race, but like you say, buddy, he's in third place now. It seems to be as quick as the leaders.
Nemechek unofficially the last car on the lead lap.
Well, he's working on that. His car, he's got 4 new tires, best I can tell, from that deal he had. That gives him the option to put on fresh tires, and his car should be as good or better than it was before.
Riding with Mark Martin, second place car. That's the distance as he closes it down from Mark to Bobby Labonte. Bodine in third, or rather Jim Bound in third, and Todd Bodine in fourth. Bodine trying to keep his championship hopes alive, but he needs some bad luck to befall Labonte and Nemechek if he's to win this. He's a long shot at the title with 78 laps to go. That's exactly how many points Bodine is out of the lead, 78.
Neil, that's a fast car with all that damage on that right front corner. If he was aerodynamic, ain't no telling how fast that car would be going.
Yeah, we can see Bound really make a run down in the corner. Here he is up on the inside. Let's see, didn't quite have him cleared. But I didn't quite have the car by Bound, and he had to back out the throttle. But watch him when he goes in the corner. He makes up a lot of ground right here as he dives in. There he goes. He's up on the inside. They touch. There's Butch Miller crawling over the back of him.
Well, they tried to slam the door on him, but he still had his foot in it. Joe Nemechek has moved past Tracy Leslie and Jeff Burton in the last lap or two here. Trails Chuck Bound up and off the corner, trying to move up. NASCAR black flagging Robert Huffman.
There's Nemechek.
4 to go.
Nemechek getting up under Chuck Bound.
If the race ended right now, Labonte would be the champion. Nemechek needs to gain 5 positions to win this title.
There he is. Nemechek's up under Chuck Bound trying to clear him, but the cars are stacked up on the inside, and we see a little shoving right there. We see Jeff Gordon get into, look like Grissom car. When you get them this tight, anything can happen. They don't need any more access. They've already had enough today with this car.
You know, that we've seen that replay on Spencer. I don't mean to dwell on anything.
Bobby Dotter in the wall.
Bobby Dotter in the wall.
Turn 3, and Dotter was on the lead lap, and it looks like he may have cut down a right front tire.
What I was going to say about Spencer, there was a slow car coming out of the pits. So sometimes your eyes deceive you. There was a car down low, and maybe Spencer moved up to try to avoid that car coming out of the pits.
Well, I'll tell you, Doddard ran good today, and there he is sitting in the wall. Yeah. Seems like whoever gets to running up front, they're having a little bit of problem on these short tracks.
Seems like just a few seconds ago he was leading the race, and now he's up against the wall here.
Bobby Dotter was on the lead lap, the 8th place car, and he caromed off the wall at turn number 3. Caution again. This is, I think it's the 11th.
There's Dotter. He's moving around the car. He's okay. It's one thing about these short tracks. The car can take a pretty good lick, and it's not that bad on the driver. Looks like he's all right. He'll be getting out here. We see him unbuckling his belts. Safety crew pulling up behind him.
Make this the 12th caution of the day for Bobby Dotter up in turn 3. Steve Grissom pits. So does Robert Huffman. It looks like Dale Jarrett will come to pit road this time as well.
Somebody else I know is really making a strong charge right now is Butch Miller. He's on the Hoosiers too, as the Bobby Dotter car was, and it seems like those cars are working very well.
They did at Martinsville. Ran tremendously. And Dotter was coming to the front.
At the very time that happened, buddy, just like you were saying, Butch Miller was up under Todd Bodine trying to get around him for 3rd place. So Butch Miller might have a little bit for these guys at the end of the race.
I think so.
To update you on one story from last week at Phoenix, we mentioned that Derek Cope would leave the Bob Whitcomb team, and that left the seat open, and Derek hunting around, and we're told now that situation has been rectified. They've gotten together, and everything put back with Bob Whitcomb and Derek Cope and Barry Dodson. They'll be together with Purolator for the 1993 Winston Cup season.
I know everybody in this booth's glad of that. They're fine people, and you know, sometimes you have a little falling out when you're not running well, and then you run good, and everybody says, let's try this some more, boys. We like each other. We're glad to see it.
Yep, they had a great run at Phoenix as well. Let's have another look at what Jimmy Spencer spoke of, and Buddy mentioned a minute ago. We were focusing on the Spencer and Nemechek cars when that happened under caution. And we're going to get another look here.
Okay.
Now, there's Tommy Houston.
You see Spencer down on the bottom here. He's giving everybody racing room, it looks like. Here comes Nemechek on the outside. They start down in the corner. Now you'll see a car coming out of the pits right down here on the bottom.
Yep.
Right there. Right next to the post. He moved up thinking that car was going to move into the lane. So really, a lot of times what looks like a real bad thing is not that way.
As we mentioned, Jimmy Spencer is out of the race. At lap 234, we have 66 to go.
Mike, that's what it's hard to understand about racing. It's not like a lot of other sports where if you dribble the ball out of bounds, you throw it back in and say, I'm sorry, and you go back the other direction, or you make a mistake. When you make a mistake here, it tears up a lot of sheet metal and stuff, and it's really costly. When things like that happen, it's bad, but it's just hard for me to imagine it was done intentionally. I'm sure there's a lot of people mad about it and everything, but it's two guys I know. That's Spencer and Nemechek, and they're both welcome to their thoughts.
Bobby Dotter's car has been hauled to pit road, and it looks like he's out of this race.
Look at them scrubbing those tires, man. They're getting it ready to really get down to serious stuff now. We're getting to pay time.
Kenny Wallace signaling 1 to go to the cars behind him. On the lead lap, Bobby Labonte, Mark Martin, Todd Bodine, Butch Miller, Kenny Wallace, Jim Bound, Mike Wallace, Dale Jarrett, Steve Grissom. Jeff Gordon is back on the lead lap, Chuck Bound, and Joe Nemechek. Nemechek between Bound and Grissom. Well back in the field. We're going to ride with Mark Martin for this restart. See if he has anything for Bobby Labonte. But Labonte gets a quick jump in low gear. 3 car lengths. And Tommy Houston, the April winner here, separates the 2 leaders.
Tommy Houston has got him in 41st and 2nd place. Tommy's car's running good right now. He's not holding up anybody at this quick time.
Houston was trying to get back on the lead lap there. It happened in April. He got a lap down, made it back up. Todd Bodine's car.
Todd Bodine. We've seen this shot before.
That's an ugly mess there. That's Jeff Burton.
How are these things still running? Part of it looks like they don't fit him run. There's Bodine up under Mark Martin down the back straightaway.
2nd place. And the Chevy of Bodine will take it on.
Mark got caught on the outside. We're sitting out there with Mark Martin in his car. We're probably going to see the Butch Miller car right on the inside. There's Butch's car pulling up inside.
That's 3rd place.
That 1 slip cost Mark 3 positions.
60 laps to go in this season. Houston trying to get his lap back from the leader. Turn 4, no contact. Clean move by Tommy Houston. He's going for it.
I tell you, if I'd seen this point standing, I'd let him go. I would worry about him later on in the race. I'd let him back in the lead lap right now and fall in position.
I don't know, buddy. As we saw here in April, that's a guy that can get a lap back and come back to haunt you and win this race. Houston did it in April. It's his home racetrack.
And they just announced before the race, they unveiled the Ford Thunderbird that he'll run next year with Rose as his sponsor. And all his sponsors are here, so he's trying to run as hard as he can.
Look at these people from Hickory around here. They're used to these Houstons every week up here. They're jumping up and down like he's leading the race right now.
Andy and Marty Houston will be running a late model stock car race after this event. Andy qualified 3rd. Marty qualified 22nd. They're Tommy's boys. His other son, Scott, is his crew chief here.
Here's Labonte. He sees Bodine coming behind him along with Butch Miller, and he's wanting to get back around Tommy Houston and put some distance on these other guys.
Yeah, that'll make him pick up the pace. I don't think he'll get to sit there and enjoy that for long.
So up front, Labonte the leader. Let's find the point leader, Joe Nemechek. He's back there battling Jeff Gordon and Chuck Bound.
I think his car is quicker right now, Mike, than these other cars. He's kind of in a box and nowhere to go. Once they get strung out, I think Nemechek will be able to work his way on up there, but he's pinned in. He doesn't have an option of where to run on the racetrack right now.
He's in 8th place right now, Neil, and that's not enough. He needs to at least get up where Dale Jarrett is, or now Chuck Bound is, in 6th.
Well, like Neil says, he's plenty fast, but he's got to clear this traffic. And I think on fresh tires like he is, he should be able to make these moves up through there.
He's got Jarrett, and now goes after Chuck Bound. This is for 6th place, and this could be the championship right here between Bound and Nemechek. Bobby Labonte's by himself. Let's stay with this, because this could be the whole season right here for Joe Nemechek.
How would you like to have to pass Bound to win the championship? That's a tall order in itself.
Nemechek's got to be careful right here not to overdrive and not to overrun the car. He knows he's got to get on up there. There's Tommy Ellis on the back of his car driving Presley's car. They got together a little bit, but Nemechek has got a lot of time here. He's got several laps to get that position that he needs. He's got to not overuse his car or the tires in this time.
They work underneath the lap card. That's Nathan Butke. But Joe needs at least one more spot. Let's check in with the leader. Bobby Labonte underneath Tommy Houston. And coming up quickly, the rest of that field. Labonte would lead Nemechek for the championship if the race ended right now.
Neil, look at that car moving in there. Butch Miller's coming fast. I tell you, I think those Hoosiers are hooking up good.
Yeah, Butch's car is really coming on right now. He's working some outside traffic. There's Labonte. He's still trying to get around the 6 car, and he's just not able to do it right now. And, you know, nothing against the 6 car, Tom Houston. He can't roll over and play dead. We saw him do this very thing, as Mike said earlier, be a lap down and win the race. If he catches a caution, he's still got a shot at it.
If Labonte wins, Nemechek must finish 6th to win the title. Labonte right now is the race leader. Todd Bodine is 2nd. Butch Miller is 3rd. Mark Martin is 4th. Jim Bound is 5th. Kenny Wallace is 6th. 7th is Chuck Bound, and Nemechek is 8th.
I'll tell you, Todd Bodine is 2nd, but he's got all the Butch Miller he wants right now.
5 points is the difference right now between Labonte and Nemechek. Each position Nemechek gains is worth 4 points.
There we go.
2nd place. And Butch Miller takes it away from Todd Bodine. That car of Butch Miller's is really strong here.
Yeah, he's right down on the bottom of the racetrack. He's able to get back in the throttle quick. That's what you got to do on a short track to run fast.
Now here's Miller. He's running in the box. He's run up in a lot of lap traffic. He's going to have to be careful getting through this traffic. His car seems quick enough if he can work around it. There's Labonte still leading the race.
And he's got Ward Burton and Tommy Houston ahead. Burton a little off the pace. A lot of front-end damage to that car. 14 cars, or 13 cars on the lead lap now. 14 counting Tommy Houston, who's just ahead of the leader. Joe Nemechek has 42 laps to gain 2 positions and be the champion. Bobby Labonte doing everything he can to win this title. Todd Bodine is having a great day here. He's the 3rd place car, but he's out of the point chase.
You know, we're talking about he's got to gain 2 positions, but the way the 75 car is coming on to Labonte, he can move Labonte back, and that'll take a car away out of the picture. So it could move it back to where he would need 1 less car if the 75 can catch Labonte. There's Nemechek. He's able to stay with the bound car, but he's not able to get around him.
Tommy Ellis is riding the heck out of that 59 car, too, I'm telling you.
So they've settled down for the moment here, pretty much single file. Labonte the leader, Butch Miller in second. Third is Todd Bodine. Fourth is Mark Martin. Fifth is Jim Bound. Sixth, Kenny Wallace. Seventh, Chuck Bound. And eighth, Joe Nemechek.
Superstar Reba McEntire.
Wonderful when everything's right. But sometimes wonderful.
Nashville Now, Monday on TNN. TNN is making history in the desert. For the first time, the World of Outlaws sprint car competition comes to TV. Live. The Winged Wonders soar into view Sunday at 6:30 with an intro preview. Then, flag-to-flag coverage gets underway at 7. Now you don't have to wait till February for more live racing. Slick 50 Sprint Car World Series, tonight, live, only on TNN Motorsports. It's the farewell event. Alabama, Richard Petty, and 60,000 close friends are going to rock the Georgia Dome in a concert you won't forget. Live on the eve of number 43's historic final race, Alabama, Joe Diffie, Ricky Van Shelton, and Lori Morgan honor the king of stock car racing. Alabama salutes Richard Petty live Saturday night at 7 Eastern on TNN. Long live the king.
32 laps left in the Busch Grand National season. They're all chasing Bobby Labonte. He has done everything he's had to do today to try and win this championship. Joe Nemechek is still running in 8th place, just behind Chuck Bound and Mike Wallace.
We see him right there, Mike. He gets the nose up under the 63 car of Chuck Bound. A couple of times he's been about 2 foot up beside him, but not enough to totally clear him. He's almost got this car a couple of times and couldn't quite get by.
Now, we mentioned Todd Bodine. If Bodine can win this race, Nemechek has to finish 21st or worse, and Labonte 10th or worse. That's very unlikely. 5 points would be the difference if the race ended right now. 30 laps. That's all that's left. Side by side in the backstretch. They will get the Mike Wallace car up on the outside. Barry Owens High Point betting car. An FDP brakes machine. Way up high, and there goes Nemechek gaining 3 very important points.
Just looking ahead, Mike, there's not enough cars. We just saw these 2 cars pick off a position. It's going to take a lot for these 2 to run down another. I think it's going to take Nemechek being able to pass Chuck Bound to be able to pull it off.
I'm afraid you're right, Neil. They are not going to catch Jim Bound in the next 27 laps, it appears. And right now, Nemechek is 1 point shy of Bobby Labonte. The race ended at this moment.
1 point?
Yes.
Holy mackerel.
And when we say we're, you know, it's going to take this, take that, we're not pulling for either one. We're just trying to make them, you're aware of what position, what it's going to take for these guys to do it, because certainly both of these drivers have run well enough this year to deserve the championship.
Bobby Labonte in a team run by his dad. And this team, though Bobby is likely to move to Winston Cup Racing next season, this team will continue with a different driver. Trying to win back-to-back championships. Sam Ard did it in 83 and 84. Larry Pearson in 86 and 87. The only drivers to win 2 consecutive championships on this tour. Monty lapping Tom Peck.
Yeah, and I tell you what, he's coming up to lap Nemechek here shortly. While Nemechek has been back in this traffic, Labonte's had a clear run at it, and they're almost on the same straightaway now. They are on the same straightaway.
22 laps to go this time by.
You may tell you a scenario that might happen here, and it'd be unbelievable. When it gets up there, Labonte's car is so good, if he can get by Nemechek and then move the 63 over to pass him, Nemechek can take the pass with him.
And take the title.
And take the title. He's running so fast, he can run these 2 guys down, and he might be the guy that beats himself if he's not careful.
All right, there's Nemechek. Right behind Chuck Bound. 21 laps to go. And we'll come back here to find Bobby Labonte coming off turn number 4. There's Kenny Wallace, Tommy Ellis in the Presley car, and there's Bobby Labonte.
You know the bad part? They're up here telling him, that 44 car's coming to lap you. The spotter up here is telling him, you got to get on it. He's doing everything he can to get by Chuck Bound, but he just cannot get under it.
The only way he might keep Nemechek back there is if he can lap those two cars on the outside.
Mike, it's almost going to have to be his move. I'm telling you, if I was Nemechek, I'd almost move over and give Labonte the inside line and just move over and let Labonte have the inside and make him try to pass Chuck Bound on the inside. And if he does, he can follow him through there. But, you know, we're playing up here armchair quarterback. It's easy to do.
All right, you're riding with Kenny Wallace. You're right, Neil. If Bobby goes underneath Joe Nemechek, he will open the door for Nemechek to pass Chuck Bound and slam the door on Bobby's championship hole.
You two guys got me nervous. I can't stay in my chair up here.
Now here we see Labonte back here trying to get around the 36. When these other two cars are running, there's Nemechek, got a good run up on the inside, underbound, but he couldn't clear him.
16 laps to go in this season.
There he is. He's up beside him right here. Lap traffic.
Ooh, squeeze on Tracy Leslie. Nemechek gains nothing. And around goes Kenny Wallace. Bobby Labonte shoots around and misses him. Caution flag.
Caution flag. Ooh.
And that caution flag, though it keeps Nemechek on the lead lap, may have been a bigger break for Bobby Labonte than it was for Joe.
You're exactly right, Mike. He was fixing to have to deal with the situation we were just talking about. He was coming so hard, he was going to have to try to go outside, not to give the thing away. It was building into a deal that he really had to deal with and not know properly how to handle the situation.
Nemechek will have to check scoring. He may have beaten Chuck Bound back to the flag. We will double check that with scoring. What a cliffhanger. Scoring is reporting that Nemechek beat Bound to the flag to move up into that all-important 6th spot. Let's have another look here.
Here they are. They're coming up off the corner right here. There's a lick behind them. There's Nemechek to the inside.
Yep. Bobby got into Kenny Wallace.
Yep. We didn't see the run to the line. Maybe we got another shot. Here we go. This way, maybe we can tell who beats back to the line. Contact's going to be, here they are right here. Here's Nemechek on the inside. Gosh, there's going to be a call by NASCAR. Who was leading?
Very close. Very close.
Boy, Labonte has run a tremendous race for it to come down to a deal like it was a while ago. It might be a good thing, like you say, Mike, that it ended like this, other than the fact that in case he did beat him line, that's going to put Nemechek in position to pass him.
We'll have another angle here.
They're giving one to go.
I will tell you this, though, that brings Butch Miller right up under the 44 car on the restart. Those two cars seem to be very similar in speed.
When I said a while ago that it'd be hard for him to figure how to handle it, I certainly know that Labonte's got the ability to make a move, but a racer wants to pass people.
Right.
And his pass could have been the inside, so I certainly didn't mean taking over Labonte. He's quite a racer.
Plus, his strategy from the go, Neil, pass everything he can, run, stay out in front of everything, win this championship. You can't do anything but. Now, right behind him now, Butch Miller. 52-race winless streak he's looking to break right here.
Boy, Labonte has been so good on these restarts. He just takes off, leaves the field. Yep. Here he goes with a big jump again. Butch Miller was laid back some. Didn't get a real good start. There's Kenny Wallace in between them.
But in Butch's defense, neither is anybody all day.
You're right.
Bobby Labonte's been in the lead. He's got one of those Richie Evans restarts going.
Or Dale Earnhardt restart.
Right.
Is out front of the C3 car right back in the shot here.
He's in 6th place, which would give him the championship by 3. 10 laps to go.
There we see Butch Miller. He did clear the 36 car. He's got 10 laps to go. If he can do anything, he can do it right now.
Joe Nemechek in 6th place behind Tommy Houston. Todd Bodine having a great race. He's the 3rd place car, but it won't mean anything to this championship.
There's Kenny Wallace laying all over him up in the corner again.
Oh, Jim Bound gave him a slug coming out of turn 4. Mark Martin looked for somewhere to go. Jim just wouldn't roll out of the throttle. 8 laps to go.
Neil, we were worried about having something to sit in. We didn't need anything today. We stood up for this whole race.
Have another look. Watch the 2 white cars. And taking a base of action there, Mark Martin. 7 to go.
Boy, that was critical right there. Nemechek got caught outside, but he just got back to the inside line. He just cleared those cars for position. He got caught outside. I thought he was going to have to drop back, but he got back to the inside line. He's okay.
And as he passes Kenny Wallace, that spot counts, and that'll pad his lead by 4 points. Labonte out front. And there's Joe Nemechek.
Whoops.
We have a spin.
Tommy Houston goes around in 4, no caution. A complete 360 and back in the gas, no yellow, 5 laps to go. Kenny Wallace got into the back of Houston. And they were battling for position on the lead lap.
Boy, I tell you, look at Labonte here. They did just exactly what they had to do. They just bared down and run away with the race here. And still, to win like this and still have that championship getaway is going to be tough on him.
Joe Nemechek is coming. 6th place, right where he needs to be.
This is when it's kind of hard to throttle a guy down. He's got the championship, but he's wanting to pass Mark Martin. He's going to have to be careful.
I believe I'd have to sit this one out and pass him. He's done what he needed to do, so did the 44 car. But Nemechek's very lucky to be in position to win the championship after all the stuff happened to him.
2 laps to go in the 1992 season. Bobby Labonte has done everything he can to win the race and the championship. White flag for the Texas Pete car. Here comes Nemechek for the white flag. Tacked onto the back bumper of Mark Martin. Labonte into turn number 3. Coming out of 4, he will win his 3rd race of the season. And the battle out of 4 to the line. Mark Martin leads Joe Nemechek to his Busch Grand National Championship by an unofficial 3 points.
I tell you things, you know, to win a championship, you got to have a good car and you got to have luck go your way. As much trouble as he's in today and still finish this race, he was awful lucky. Labonte did a tremendous job with that car right there, winning the race.
Got run into on the caution flag.
When you get beat and you won the race, there's nothing you can say. If he had finished second, they might have an empty feeling, but not right now.
Joe Nemechek got involved in a couple of spins, a scuffle with Jimmy Spencer on the track. Still came back to win this title. We'll talk to them when we come back to Hickory Motor Speedway. Labonte wins the battle, Nemechek the war. We'll be right back.
In America, your car doesn't just get you from here to there. It's a part of your life. To give your car complete protection, Texaco has developed Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. With not 1, but 3 kinds of protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
Quote, Dodge Dakota Sport with an optional 180 horsepower Magnum V6 out-accelerates Ford and Chevy compacts and does it for under 10 grand. Unquote. Dodge, the most powerful line of trucks anywhere.
Get $500 cash back on new Dodge Dakotas.
Guess who just got back today? Them wild-eyed boys that had been away.
The Miller Genuine Draft Rusty Wallace stock car is back in town. So you better hold on.
Spread the word around. Guess who's back in town?
Superstar Reba McEntire.
Wonderful when everything is right, but sometimes wonderful.
Nashville Now, Monday on TNN.
Live coverage of the Pantry 500 on the Nashville Network has been brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. And by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. Well, there are 2 happy, excited drivers in victory lane. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, the happiness is somewhat subdued for Bobby Labonte, but I tell you, buddy, that was about the best race I've seen you ever drive. What a job.
Well, you know, all the cars were on the table. We had to do what we had to do, and Slim Jim Chevrolet run great all day. It's the same car we won with at Martinsville, and you know, it's just a deal where, hey, this is the way it goes. And we'll just go on from here. You know, we had a good day, and Goodyear tires held up. And we did what we had to do, and I never thought I'd ever win at Hickory, but hey, this feels great, it really does.
Well, your record at Hickory is phenomenal. You hardly ever finish out of the top 5, so it's not a surprise to us. Great job. And one thing that I told Bobby, he was a little bit subdued about this. He lost the championship. He gave it a great try. He couldn't have done any more. But I told him to remember one thing, that driving ability that puts you here at Hickory today is going to make you millions and millions of dollars in Winston Cup racing.
And I'll tell you what I said. I say I'll buy a car for me because I know he just sold me one, Jarrett Honda. So anyway, I just want to thank all the guys in the crew. We just did what we had to do, and we had fun doing it.
My producer said that because of that commercial you gave me, I owe her $5 grand. Congratulations, Bobby.
Thank you.
Job.
Thank you.
Well, Bobby can afford that $5 grand. He's had a great day, and he will have a top Winston Cup ride next year. The announcement of the car and the sponsor will be made next week at Atlanta. Joe Nemechek is that pile of people on the left surrounding what's left of that Texas Pete Chevrolet. We'll give you a look at the results, and then we'll meet the new Busch Grand National champion. Labonte the winner. Butch Miller, as at Martinsville, strong stretch run. He finishes second. Todd Bodine did everything he could, and for a second-year driver in this series, he's had quite a season. Jim Bound started on the pole, had a fine fourth-place finish. Mark Martin is fifth. Let's go down to the champion of 1992.
Well, there's bedlam here. Radio people are here. Joe's getting hugs from everybody involved. And Joe, I don't want to get too close to the car here. I don't want to tear my pants, but what a great job. I'll tell you, you had to come back from all kind of adversity.
Well, the last 15 laps after that caution, when I got Chuck, something happened to the right front, and you could hear it grinding up there, and I just come on, and then at the end I thought I could pass Mark, and Mark was running his best. I mean, he wasn't going to let me go by, and you know, Texas Pete, Lazito Pharmacy Chevrolet, all the other people that stuck with me this year, we did it. You know, this is I'm honored to be the champion, and I hope I can be a good champion next year.
Well, tell me, when all these things started going wrong, did you ever think that, oh man, this is just not my day?
I couldn't believe it. You know, the car was real good at the start, and I just kind of had to hold my own pace, and then all of a sudden I spun out, and I don't know if I had any help or not, and I just consider I lost it. You know, the car just got loose, and then it was uphill. Then we started getting in accidents, bumping into people, and you know, it's unbelievable to be here right now.
Well, the thing about it, though, is that about midway through the season, financial situation didn't look all that good, and I know you told me that from that point on it was about a race-to-race deal, but by golly, you put things together and turn things around in about the best way possible.
Well, it's just great. You know, Texas Pete has been in this series for 6 years now, and we won their first 2 races this year, had their pole position, and now we win the championship, and man, you can't do much better than that. I mean, the team, my crew chief, Vic Kangas, all my sponsors, everybody, you people backed me all year, and you're the ones that made it happen.
Well, now we're going to get one more person into this. Andrea, we want to get Andrea on camera. This is Joe's fiance, and what a wedding present. They're going to be married on November 21st in Lakeland, Florida.
Thank you very much.
I think these people are pretty happy, and let's let them celebrate a little while. Congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Woo! We did it!
Glenn, they're going to have about $100,000 in season-ending bonuses to help honeymoon with.
Mike, I hope that pharmacy's got plenty of tetanus shots because they're all going to need it walking around that race car. It's going to cut them all to pieces.
It's pretty well ripped up. That's the story here from Hickory, North Carolina. Bobby Labonte wins the race and drove perhaps the most aggressive race of his career in doing it. Joe Nemechek finished just where he had to and won the Busch Grand National Championship in a day that had just about everything, including the Miller pit crew of the race. Glenn will give that away for the final time.
Well, we're still down here in this happiness, and Vic Kangas, congratulations, and one heck of a job on keeping that car under, Joe. On behalf of Miller Genuine Draft, we're giving you the Pit Crew Award for the race and for the whole season. Great job.
Thank you very much. The crew that we've got here did a heck of a job. Joe did an outstanding job of driving the car, and you can't ask for any more. You know, the Texas Pete Lazito Chevrolet did a wonderful job all year for us. So the guys really earned this one. You know, I mean, we finished where we needed to finish, and that's where it ended up.
Well, if they ever earned one, it was this one today. Congratulations, guy. Mike?
Thanks, Glenn. We'll be back to Hickory Motor Speedway right after we take this break and do a little more celebrating with our race and championship winner. Stay with us.
Last year, Davey Allison added something new to his car. It wasn't wider tires or a slicker shape. It was the same Haviland Formula 3 motor oil you can buy, straight off the shelf, to add more life to your car with complete protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Now, we're not saying it was Haviland Formula 3 that gave Davey the energy to lead more major NASCAR races than anyone last year and win this year's Daytona 500. But we're not saying it wasn't.
Miller Genuine Draft. It's cold filtered. That's how we keep our commitment to everyone who knows that draft beer is real beer, pure beer, the best beer. It's why so many people can enjoy a beer whose taste hasn't been changed by heat pasteurization, and why so many people are making a change of their own to the genuine draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold.
The same thing every Saturday. He puts on those old blue jeans and goes out with that old dog, and he's gone all day. He says he's going to bring back dinner, but all he ever brings back is that old dog.
Here's to old dogs, Saturday mornings, and comfortable blue jeans. Wrangler.
Over the years, I've made a lot of trips back and forth to Vegas.
How's it going this trip, George?
The odometer was broken for over 50,000 miles, so I say we've got 300,000 miles on this car.
Hi, George.
I've had a longer relationship with this car than I've had with any woman.
Hi, George. How are you?
This beauty's a living example of what can be done with proper maintenance and AC Delco.
Hi, George.
AC Delco parts. It's like buying time.
Everybody drove real smart today.
They are celebrating aplenty here at Hickory Motor Speedway. Let's take you back through the finish of this race today. Bobby Labonte, the winner. Butch Miller, another strong second. Todd Bodine, third. Jim Bound may have had his best career finish ever today. Mark Martin finished in fifth. Joe Nemechek sixth, and the championship just ahead of Chuck Bound, Kenny Wallace, Steve Grissom, and Tommy Houston, all finishing on the lead lap, as was Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett, and Mike Wallace. Richard Lassiter, 14th, one of his better efforts this year. Robert Presley, with relief from Tommy Ellis. Tom Peck, Tracy Leslie, Jeff Burton, Nathan Butke, and Hermie Sadler. That's the top 20.